This nation does not belong to them. This nation belongs to you. Belongs to you. Because it was the hard-working patriots like you who built this country, and tomorrow it is the hard-working patriots like you who are going to save our country.
And it's I don't know if you guys in the UK understand how sad it is for us in Canada and in the United States to watch what you're doing to yourself. I mean, the UK is a great country. When I go there, I go to Oxford, I go to Cambridge, to these remarkable places in London, see your unbelievable deep history, understand how much the world owes the UK in terms of, say, the establishment of common law and decent government everywhere, including places like India. We owe the UK such an immense debt. And to watch you guys like spiral yourselves into the ground for this idiot, weak political correctness that's gone so far that you can allow your working class women to be en masse sadistically.
I will fight for you with every breath in my body, and I will never, ever let you down.
The people have the sovereignty of the nation.
Yeah, nigga, this war. I'm putting bodies on the floor. I'm with it all. I talk to my demons and I see the writings on the wall. Niggas is dying when it's over. I get excited for them calls. And no one ain't crying when he gone. Cause Brody was fighting for the cause. I do this shit for my brothers. We do this shit for each other. The whole world watching the movie. So everybody see me suffer. They done JFK my demon. Now bro not breathing. Like too short. So if I take now bro not breathing. Like too short.
If you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
Hey. Why this beat so cold?
We will make America proud again. If you try to kill our we will make America wealthy again. And yes, together, we will make America great again.
Yo, hey everybody, you're watching Made to This Broadcast Official. Today's going to be a great show. I have a great show lined up for you guys today. We have some special guests on, and we're going to be discussing a variety of topics. We're going to be talking about, geopolitics, what's been going on. I know Trump was in office recently, is talking about the Ukraine deal. So we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about, some other stuff as well. Dating, maybe finance. We'll see where the conversation goes. But I won't hold you guys too long. It's gonna be a good show, and we'll get straight into it. So yeah, um, let me unmute my. How do I unmute my thingy?
The clothing
There we
is
go.
wrong, and if you
Yeah,
already out.
and yeah, but it's a
Okay, we're
different
live.
vibe.
We're live. So you guys want to introduce yourselves first? Introduce yourselves as whatever you wanna. So you can start. Jonathan, you can start. Camera's on you.
I'm not doing all that, bro. My name is Jonathan.
So what's your name? How old are you?
My name is Jonathan. I'm 18 years old.
And where are you from?
I'm from Malawi.
And what are you studying?
Studying financial economics and business technology.
Okay. What's your body count? Zero. Okay.
Oh, baby.
Okay.
Is that a 3 or a 0?
Yeah. Well, come on.
Oh, zero.
Zero.
Okay.
Is it involuntary or is it by choice?
Um, I'll leave that up to you. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I'll leave it up to you.
Well, great getting to know you. Great getting to know you. Next, we'll go for K9. If you want to introduce yourself.
K9. Yeah,
Name,
my name is
age.
K9. K9 or K-Niz. That's what they call me. You want my age? You want what I tell the feds or my real
Anything
age?
whatever you want to say. Whatever you want to say.
I tell the feds I'm 21
21.
because I am 21.
Mm-hmm.
That's what my
Bad.
ID says. I'm 21. What am I studying? I'm studying international relations and with a minor in legal studies and entrepreneurship.
That's fair. That's fair. And
hmm
body count.
Um, so this
This
answer can be slightly
2025.
tricky.
2025.
0.
Okay. That's not too bad.
In general, it's 0.
In general, yeah, we keep it holy.
Yeah.
Okay, next VMP. VMP.
Yo, my
VMP
name is
grape,
What?
Huh?
grapes. Grapes. You like grapes, right?
Yo, chill out with that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yo,
VMP's a graper.
Hello.
my name is
Nah, I thought he
VMP.
likes like
Guilty.
green or red grapes.
Green or red grapes.
Red grapes.
Before you introduce yourselves. Okay.
And
I don't like
so
any
what?
sorts
So
of
your name's
grapes.
VMP.
Sorry.
You're 18. What are you studying?
I'm studying business administrations.
And your body count?
0, bro.
Okay.
Keep it holy.
And last but not
Yeah.
least, Tata Lala. Are you there? I mean, you don't want to put your face cam on.
I am Tatalala. My
Sigma.
age is my age is similar to everybody else. My
Don't
body
lie,
count.
you're 25.
Hmm?
Your
You're
Keep
on.
it real. Keep it
You're
real.
on,
Keep it real.
bro. You're 25.
Nah,
Keep
nah,
it
nah,
real.
nah.
Keep it.
I'm,
Tell the
I'm,
viewers the
I'm.
truth.
Nah, I'm the same age as everybody. That's what I'm gonna. That's what I'm gonna leave it as.
And what's the body count?
Um, it's you know me, man. 0. Respectful.
Zero.
You gotta ask.
Is that by choice or is that by involuntary? Involuntary celibate.
Uh, it's more like with respect. You feel me? That's the biggest thing. It's with respect.
Okay.
That's what I would say.
I have a question for him.
Okay. Ask him a question. Go
You
ahead.
know the way I asked VMP if he likes grapes. I just
Yeah.
want to ask
Yeah.
Lala Tata if what the shape of his hairline is.
Yeah. What's the shape of your hairline?
The shape of my to give it to you right now, it's not looking good.
It's not looking
It's
good.
like it's a squiggly line, as simple as that. I'll say it like that.
Squiggly. That's horrid.
Yeah.
Horrid, man. Horrid. It goes
Horrid,
up,
man.
down, inverted, comes back out.
And my team is working on a GoFundMe link to send you to Turkey. So
Yeah.
so you
Hold
should, you
on,
should be
you got
should be straight for
Brilliant
some.
threads. You
Should
know,
be straight for summer.
let's do that.
What?
I need some
You
threads
guys,
in my boy.
What? What were you gonna say?
What?
I don't know. Anyway, I mean everyone knows who I am. It should be good.
Of course
Should
they
be
do.
good. Huh?
Of course they
What's
do.
your body count?
My body
What's your
count.
body count, boy?
Yeah, what's
Body
your body
count.
count?
Everyone already
Everybody,
knows. All the
everybody,
chatters
everybody.
they know. That I'm a holy man. So it's 0.
Uh,
And yeah,
Show the chat your hairline.
my hairline.
It's not squiggly.
yeah.
If it's not squiggly.
You've seen my hairline. You know my haircut when I was young.
Well, the
But
chat hasn't.
the chat
I
doesn't
want
need
to
to.
see.
Okay, I want to see. Let me low-key see what the chat is saying.
Tata Lala, you can't even turn your camera on. You're too scared.
It's now, you know,
So
it's important that I'm doing like I'm busy. That's what I'm going to say. So
you're busy.
yeah, I'm a busy man.
Okay. Turn the updated settings inside. Okay. Anyway, I mean we can get straight into the main topics. Is my mic working fine? You can hear me, right?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay. Nice. Nice. Let me fix my thingy. Okay, yeah, so we're gonna answer a variety of questions because I know that Jonathan here, he's not too he doesn't know much about politics, neither does
I do
Tata
actually.
Lala. Or if you do,
I'm very knowledgeable. I'm very knowledgeable.
can you get up? Why are you
Easy.
sleeping? Sit up
I'm, I'm doing work. Homework.
in bed.
Yep.
Dude, you're a finance bro. They don't do homework.
Oh,
No,
I
you lie, bro.
They only study for tests.
Yeah, BA students don't get
And
homework. Why you
and
capping? Like coloring book.
ChatGPT does your homework.
low key. You
What are you
know
on
I
ChatGPT
knew
right
it,
now?
bro. Now you gotta hop on Grok. I'm sorry.
what's that?
It's wrong good. The Twitter, yeah.
Yo,
I
shout
thought
out
it's
to
chill.
Wary Dancer. What's up, man? What's up?
Ah.
You remember Wary Dancer, Jonathan?
Yeah, of course I do.
But I'm
Yeah.
saying you gotta hop on Grok. Elon has done something crazy on that
What is
thing.
it? Is it good?
It writes better essays than ChatGPT, in my opinion. It's
For real?
it, it
Yeah,
shows you the actual sources where it gets the stuff from,
Right,
like the
that's true.
websites and like it's. I think it's just. I mean, it's the same. It's basically the same thing as ChatGPT. I haven't used it like maybe like the same way a computer science guy will use it,
Yeah.
but for what I have to do, I think it does the job really well.
Yeah, that's fair. But I mean, I just want to ask you guys. I mean, right now, I mean, Trump was he was just talking. I mean, he was in office. I mean, what was it? He was at the DOJ. He was talking about the DOJ, and he was basically talking about the Ukraine deal. So the Ukraine deal is basically falling apart. Putin basically said no to the minerals deal. What happened is, there was the minerals deal that was going to be accepted, and Putin said no, we're not going to accept a temporary ceasefire because um, practically Russia doesn't benefit from the ceasefire, right? Because when two countries are fighting and you got Ukraine and you got Russia, if it's an ongoing war, which it is, right? I'll answer that question in a second in the chat. But if it's an ongoing war, which is like it is, um, and you got two major economies, it comes down to the industries and who can produce more at the end of it. And Russia's going to win that war, and that's why they don't want to accept the ceasefire deal. So it's an interesting thing. So we'll see what Trump has to say about that. Weary Dance, I'm in the best of health. How goes you, my old friend? That goes very well. Thank you for tuning in today. But yeah, I mean, what are you guys' thoughts on that? Jonathan, please stop showing kids on camera. We're all. You're turning me
The
on.
diddler,
Stay jealous, bro.
Yeah, don't turn me on.
the, the diddler.
What?
I'm joking.
Yo,
I'm
Diddy.
joking. I'm joking.
Chill, Diddy.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
On cam, bro.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
Yo,
Nah, that's a joke. It's a joke. It's a joke. Anyway, yeah, but what are
I
your
I'm
am
thoughts?
comedian.
Huh?
on Trump and this whole
No, I mean the
mineral deal.
deal. Yeah, the deal breaking down. Because I mean,
I mean, I don't think it was ever gonna work.
you don't think it was. But do you think? What do you think about the funding though? You think Trump should stop? Like, do you agree with the cutting aid? because in the UK, we also send. I think there was a new deal that was signed, $2.4 billion going to US. I mean, sorry, to Ukraine. Um, I really don't
I
agree with it.
mean,
It's taxpayer money, right?
at the end of the day, their justification of like why they're cutting funding in general makes sense, you know? Like
Mm,
they gotta recover from their debts, you know? They have a lot of money missing, a lot of money's being misplaced, recover for debts. So
yeah.
I mean, it makes sense from their side, from their view, and cutting it like in any world like where people self-interested, rational, it's the most rational decisions. Like, we've got to think of ourselves first. But I think they're in a position where I think they could have gone about that in a different manner. And in terms of like the Russia and USA and then Ukraine involvement, I have a question for you actually on that.
Okay, ask me.
Are you a realist, a conservative, a liberal?
Um,
A constructivist or a liberal? Because
I would consider
that'll
myself.
also shape
I'm
that'll
quite
shape
like
how you see this argument. No,
yeah, I'm like a reactionary uh, nationalist. You know what I mean?
what does that mean?
So a reactionary is basically someone who thinks that the past, like things were better in the past and we should. It's practically conservatism.
So you're a fascist.
No, not really a fascist, but it's like take things that were. So I'll give you an example. I'm a realist. Worry Dancer says he's a realist. I'm like a reactionary. Says he seeks the truth.
I think
That's
I'm
what
a
he says.
realist with,
You're a realist
or
too,
I'm
Worry Dancer.
a near or a neoliberal.
A
Same thing.
neoliberal. Yeah, so a
Yeah.
reactionary is basically like, so I'll give you an example. So like, for example, the nuclear family, right? The nuclear family has worked
Mm-hmm.
throughout time. And now it's kind of changing and you have, women and women getting together, women and men getting together. And
Mm-hmm.
reactionaries basically believe that, if this worked in the past, we should implement that right now and we should just stick with it. Instead of being, liberals are more
Um,
so like, or they're more optimistic. They're like, okay, things are changing and we kind of have to adapt to that. A reactionary is
yeah.
kind of like, what the past whatever worked in the past that, that was working, we should re-implement
Uh-huh.
it back into what's working now. And I'm like I'm a nationalist. Um, I base the nationalism off, Christianity. So obviously there's like empathy there. Um,
Mm-hmm.
because you don't want to see people die, with the peace deal and everything that's going on. So obviously I don't want to see people die, but um,
Yeah. But bro, I have a critique to your, and I'm not saying it's wrong or right, but
yeah,
be you're saying we should basically use, if something worked in the past, we should use it now.
hmm
Times change.
I know,
Times
I know,
change. People change. How we think change. How
exactly.
other people think change. You know what I'm saying? Like we can't use stuff that we used, or like ideologies we used in like Cold War nowadays. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but the thing is, right, when change happens, we don't know if it's going to be successful or it's going to be worse. For example, we don't know if what we're living in right now is like the fall of the Roman Empire. The last 50 years is what I'm saying.
Hmm.
And well, I see it as I think the future is basically, or the future of, the West really is basically declining. I think that we're in decline. I don't think that we're going in a positive direction. And that's why I think, that's why I'm a reactionary. That's why I think that sometimes it's better to use things in the past. It's better to implement things in the past, especially if the future leads to the fall of the nation. And I understand times are changing and whatnot, but
Hmm.
if times are changing for the worse, if things are becoming worse in society, then um,
Are
we
they though?
might.
I feel like we're becoming a more inclusive society. So how do we accommodate for using precedent ideas or events to structure how we like go about our like current events, but like how do we also accommodate for changing times? Because if anything, time's just going to change and they're forever going to change.
Yeah, I know, but when you look at things like dating, I mean, divorce rates are at an all-time high, mental health rates, they're skyrocketed at like, depression rates,
Yeah.
people sick in the head, and we got like declining birth rates, you got, a variety of other issues. That's why, that's how it substantiate the argument because it's a
Hmm.
variety of things which I think that are leading to it. And yeah, we might be more inclusive, but I think being inclusive is important, but I think there has to be quotas on it. I think there has to be limits on this. I don't think that and
What's the
that's
limit?
that's huh?
So what limits are those?
Like,
Yeah,
I
what's the
mean,
limit?
so for example, I mean, this goes back into immigration now. I think that being, I think I'm anti-immigration. I think that it changes the fundamental culture of the nation. When too many people who are unalike or of a different disposition, come into the country. And I'm not saying like, look, if they can assimilate into the country, that's fine. But typically assimilation takes like 3 to 4 years. It's not really, not sorry, not 3 to 4 years, 3 to 4 generations, right? And some people can assimilate easier than
Hmm.
others, but a lot of the people coming in, they're not alike. And the problem is they don't even identify with the country. Some people they come in and they identify more with another country. They identify more with, let's say someone from India came, right? An Indian came in. If India and the UK or India or the United States went to war, they would side with India. They wouldn't side with the UK. And they you know they have more of an affinity to their own kind than the actual citizens in the country, if that makes sense.
So I have a question for you. So you said if we use past like events or like past knowledge of how, and we know that they work.
Hmm.
So I'll give you a real life situation. I'll put it as easy as it is. The Russia and USA and Ukraine and like mineral deal. How do
Hmm.
you think we should go about it? Or like in a utopia world, how do you think this should go about? If you could control everything, how would you
Well,
want it to go?
well, I'm a Christian, and it's like, look, at the end of the day, you want peace. I always want peace. I just don't think
Hmm.
Zelensky wants peace. I think it's obvious. I think that he wants to keep fighting. He wants this war. He doesn't want to give up the land he already lost, you know. And Putin's fine with that. But I just think Putin doesn't want to be in a situation where there's a peace deal, and then eventually it's broken once Ukraine basically rebuilds their economy, rebuilds their industries, and then they're at war again. He doesn't want a temporary ceasefire deal. He wants a permanent ceasefire deal, and he wants to keep the land. And look, Trump's pushing for the deal. I like the idea of the minerals deal. I think that it'll help pay back for the everything that has been lost in the conflict, and it's also going to help secure that ceasefire deal because once American workers are in Ukraine, Russia's unlikely to attack them because if they kill an American worker or American
Yeah.
thing, right? Yeah, that's going to be a war with America. So
Yeah.
Putin's not going to attack Ukraine, and that's going to ensure their security. So I think that would be the best idea. I think that it's a good idea. I think that yeah, I agree with it.
Technically, you say you should prevent a war,
Hmm.
prevent another war from happening.
Yeah, I think that war. What you're saying
Something
that
like that. Something like that. It's making sense in my head, but
what are you
I don't
saying
know.
that
I'm not. I'm
that I should prevent it,
like,
what I'm preventing. That's my idea.
yeah, kind of.
Oh yeah, yeah. I don't want war. Yeah, yeah. Of course.
Yeah, you don't want war, but like you gotta use like um the idea of like a potential war happening to deter the other people.
The thing is, I don't think like even if you look back at the start of the Ukraine conflict, right at the beginning after World War II, the whole north
Hmm.
side of the world was, I mean, Northern Europe, Northern slash Eastern Europe was
Hmm.
communist, and then the West was, a part of NATO. They were democratic,
Yeah.
and only after that um, was America and these NATO countries. They started pushing into the East. They started making these communist nations part of NATO. They started, pushing, and they pushed all the way to Ukraine's border.
I mean, it was a big part of like the USA's whole idea of containment,
What was
the evil forces,
containment of the
containment of communism,
mm,
communism.
yeah, but I think that's why Russia attacked is what I'm saying. I think that I don't think they want to attack the whole of NATO. And they really
Oh,
attacked.
for sure.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be like World War III or
I
anything,
know. I
but
think
you know what I mean.
I think in general, Russia is trying to take Ukraine. It's a power plays. They're just trying to secure their position, you know, because if Ukraine falls to the EU or Russia,
Yeah.
obviously loses a lot of power in like Ukraine, in like Ukraine's territory. It's a very rich land.
Yeah.
To like just having Ukraine on your side, you know, you're losing a power, and like Russia needs that, you know.
Yeah.
So
And the thing is,
Putin's power hungry, very
no,
power
no, he
hungry.
definitely is. He definitely is. Um, I don't know. I just think that it's. I think it would be. Look, I just think it would be better because Ukraine. The thing is, they've taken all that money and they're still losing the war. And I think the minerals deal would be a
Yeah,
good way to pay back America. And America's on the hunt for minerals. I mean, look at Congo.
yeah,
I don't know if you've seen recently, but
well, yeah, yeah,
they're
yeah,
looking
yeah,
into Congo for minerals. They're looking into
yeah.
Ukraine. I mean, Canada actually has a lot of minerals. That's why, and Greenland too. That's why Trump was like, "Oh,
Yeah,
let's
so I
let
heard
Canada
about
do the
Greenland.
testing."
Yeah,
So America's on the hunt for minerals right now.
I mean, no, but like right now, America is very, very power hungry. You
Definitely.
can even just see by the way Trump has come in and like these tariff wars.
Mm.
They're very power hungry. They're if anything, I feel like they want to be in a unipolar world.
No, they do. But okay, but would you agree that America, let's say we lived in a unipolar world, don't you think America would be
Mm.
the best country to be that, the head?
Best poll.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, yeah, I would say so. And just in terms of how one like this, how woke the society here is, I feel like just one because they're democratic
Hmm.
allows for, and that's also just comes down to my values as a person, right? It allows for like wiggle room. So as like freedom of speech is a big thing. Like people can uprise against the government, as in like let's say if we said Russia or China took on, if there was a poll,
Yeah.
we go into a world where it's a very people are going to be very scared. I feel like we would be in a very restricted world. I feel like if USA was the main pole, I feel like we would be in a little bit of a freer world than China. But not to say that like you it would be perfect. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And like yeah, I know we lived in like a bipolar world for a while, but I think the US was
Hmm.
still sort of at the head. And countries that were
Yeah.
under the US, I think they were pretty fair. They were pretty fair with their, judgments. I think being under China or being under Russia, Russia I still think would be fairer than China. China I think would be the worst. I think if China was the unipolar head or pole, I think
Mm,
that would be the worst thing ever. And I think
yeah.
that's why the tariffs are even implemented in the first place. That's why I think Trump is trying to get on good relations with Russia in the first place. It's because
Sure.
if he can bring Russia onto the US's side, because the only reason Russia's surviving right now is because of China. They've had massive trade restrictions on them. The only reason they're
Yeah.
surviving is because of China. If the Russia can get back on the west side, like how the story was meant to go, that's what they used to say, Russia join Europe.
I mean, you see, Russia is also very, 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 very important country in the world, you know?
Mm,
But like to the point that like if let's say that like Russia attacked Ukraine and then attacked like US civilians and then USA and Russia went to war and Russia lost, the world would change like significantly.
yeah.
Just in terms of how powerful Russia is. Like Russia is a big supplier of gas to the world. I don't think we understand that.
Yeah, no, no, they do natural gas, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Like to the whole world, especially European countries like Italy.
Yeah. And there's
And like
been
and you know
massive trade restrictions on that gas, right? Since the war
yeah,
started.
for sure. For
Yeah.
sure. And then like for instance in the case of Italy and Russia, right? Russia's smart. Russia's very smart. They for I mean Russia, China in general, like very smart countries when it comes to like diplomacy, public diplomacy. Like they when this whole Russia Ukraine war broke out and then like people getting Russia was like cutting off like gas to other countries. They did not cut off anything to Italy. You know that, right?
Oh, why?
And
I didn't know that.
because
Why?
they knew that Italy relies so much on gas from for heating.
Mm.
Like Russia,
Did they
if
charge
Russia
like
cut
premium
off, it
prices?
maybe I'm not sure. I'm not sure about the charging. I'm not too entirely sure on like the pricing, but
Hmm.
I know that like Italy relied on Russia a lot. You know,
Yeah.
and then like if Russia cut them off, which they could have done, they Italy would have suffered, but they didn't.
Yeah.
It was a smart tactic. You know,
That's
it's the same
why.
way when coronavirus broke out, China was giving out masks to all over the world as an
Yeah.
act of like, oh, we're trying to help, you know, type
Makes
of thing.
sense.
make
Yeah.
themselves look good.
Yeah. But back to that, yeah, just on that over-reliant point, that's why I even think these tariffs are good. I think that tariffs, because I think the US especially is way too over-reliant on other countries for, imports. And I think if America starts to
Mm,
become an industrial base, American producers become more, um, they become more competitive on a global scale, that's gonna benefit them in a massive way. Also, because we're moving
mm.
into a multipolar world, if countries start relying on China for trade and then Russia for military, that's going to put the U.S. in a bad situation. The U.S. need to up their trade. They need to,
Yeah.
they need to become more competitive. That's why I agree with the tariffs. A lot of people disagree with the tariffs. I think the tariffs are,
I mean, bro, at the end of the day, as
some of
someone who
them are
lives in
over
America right
exaggerated.
now,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I mean, all of them, but like at the end of the day, price is just gonna go up everywhere.
I feel like I feel like it's only minor increases though. I don't think it's going to be, and
Nah,
it's
dude,
short
like,
term too. Like in 2016, it was only a minor increase in prices. Maybe now more because there's been retaliatory tariffs. But I think
yeah,
these,
that's what I'm saying. It's we're getting into tariff war territory, you know?
yeah. But
People
I,
can
I
pull
don't think
pull
those other
back.
countries can last. Like I don't think Canada can last with
I
those
mean,
tariffs from the
yeah,
US. I think they're gonna have to remove them eventually.
nor will Mexico.
Yeah, exactly. So I think eventually it's gonna benefit the US. I think. I could be wrong though. That's
No,
my
but
prediction.
okay, it will be okay, relative. It will benefit the US relative to these countries, but anything and anyhow, prices will still go up in the US.
No, they might. Yeah, they
Like
probably they
like
definitely will. They
US,
definitely will.
yeah, US will make a relative gain. Yes,
But it's more
but they
like a
will also
long-term
still
move.
lose.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Where
yeah,
it's like,
for sure. At the end of the day, these countries are going to need the U.S.
yeah,
They're going to have to comply with what the U.S. is asking for. I mean, at the end of the day, I was saying they're power hungry. It's a smart move.
it is a smart move. Yeah, that's the thing though. A lot of people don't understand the tariffs. Whenever you say something's like, whenever you say like, oh, Trump's good for the economy, they'll be like, what are you talking about? The tariffs. And it's
Yeah,
like, it's good for industries. I think industries, a lot of people say GDP is the way you measure an economy's wealth. I would say it's the industries in the country. I would say it's the industrial basis, because what a country produces is the most important thing, um, in
sure.
my opinion.
So what you can send out, that's
Yeah, and
what's
like,
what put you on the
and
global
if
on the global place.
yeah, and if there's like a major war, and the U.S. can't produce enough ships, or they're reliant on China for steel, or China for
Yeah.
ships or something like that, or shipyards, then it's not going to be good news for the USA, is what I'm
I
saying.
mean, bro, as a country, I do feel like you need multiple. I mean, like every country needs multiple sources of like or streams of like kind of income, if we can put it that way. Like if you had minerals, I don't think you can only
Hmm.
rely on minerals. And like if you had oil, I don't think you should only like let's say UAE for example, they had the oil, but now they're moving to tourism. They're big
Yeah,
tourism.
yeah, yeah.
Like I just feel like, for instance, Singapore, like a big tech hub, big tech hub in the world.
Hmm.
It's becoming industrialized. So I just feel like, as you were saying, like yeah, industrialization is important, but I feel like at the same time, it's like if a state or a country can just like zoom, like find what you're good at and like use that to propel yourself. So,
Yeah. I think the US needs to reindustrialize. I think they've completely. Yeah, I mean,
really,
apparently, I think if you look at China and you look at I think it was their GDP. Oh no, it was the three main sectors. So you look at agriculture,
mm,
you look at like, I think I can't remember the other two, industries, agriculture, industries and infrastructure, something like that, right? It takes up about 70% of their economy. And you look at the US, those three sectors, it takes up only about 15% of the economy. And when you look at things like that, I think I understand what you mean, and you're right. I think
mm,
countries definitely need to industrialize, but yeah, the U.S. needs to reindustrialize. I think that 15% of the economy being based on that, they're way too over reliant on imports. They're way too over reliant on China, Africa, Europe. Because at the end of the day,
Yeah.
if they're over reliant on these countries, they can't be a global superpower. Because China is not really reliant. They're reliant on their exports, for all these other countries, but they're not
But,
really reliant on imports.
for me, why I grace China at times is where like their economy is growing fast, but to the point where because they're a communist, there is an inequality in the country. As in here, my only issue with reindustrializing the United States is that like we'll see the same trend where the rich will get richer and the poor will kind of stay the same or even get poorer,
Yeah,
and the gap in between will just grow even bigger.
that's fair. I
You know what I'm
mean,
saying?
yeah, inequality. I mean, I think that's always bound to happen. I mean, the problem is, I think it's because the rich are the people, the rich people are the ones who have the most power in the country. They're the ones who run the
They
countries.
exploit, yeah.
And
At the end of the day, yeah.
there is lobbying that occurs. I mean, that's undeniable, right? There is definitely lobbying,
Hmm.
and it's these rich business owners. They might lobby politicians. Politicians might be hatchet men,
And
and they
it happens
basically
everywhere in the world.
everywhere in the world, yeah.
That's how it works. That's how it works.
So, I think even immigration, that's my main point. I think immigration benefits the rich. I think that you know,
Yeah, same way, like if you have 5 million, you can become a U.S. citizen.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Same thing with that.
You know,
I mean, the 5 million,
it's the
yeah,
same.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But
If you're rich, you're at a way more advantaged place than
yeah, I
anyone
think
else. You
every
can send your
single
kids to the
policy,
best.
yeah, but every single policy to a degree helps a company or helps someone get richer more than
Yeah,
I think it helps sometimes
or
they benefit the poor too, but I would say for most of the time it's to benefit the rich.
that's when you go into like that's when I was saying that like a country like USA would be perfect, not perfect, but it would be at least because of its democratic values would allow for like the inequality to kind of shrink.
Mm.
Because people have kind of the wiggle room to argue against oppressors
But isn't that
or
just like
marginalized
pure
communities.
communism?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's when you argue is communism the way to go.
Yeah. I mean, right now there really isn't a pure communist state. Like people say Russia's communist, China's communist. Not really. Like if you actually look at what communism is, I mean it's
Hmm.
basically equal pay no matter, like it's not there's no colorblind meritocracy, nothing like that, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
It's pure just pure equality. But I don't know if that's the best way to run a society because some people work harder than the others. Some people have done more than others, and maybe they deserve the riches. Maybe some because I mean I want to hear what you think because do you
I mean,
think
I'm a
people are
cap.
poor
I'm
because they're lazy or
I'm a
because
fan of
they're
habit. I mean, it
unfortunate?
becomes a thing where people work to survive.
Yeah, but do you think some people are just like, let's say you grew up in a poor neighborhood. One person made it out the neighborhood, super rich. He worked extremely hard. Some other guy,
Hmm.
he was lazy. He worked, an average job, blah 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 blah, and he was stuck in that neighborhood his whole life. That's how I see it. Where it's like, I think wherever you're born, I think that if you work hard, if you focus on the right things, make the right decisions, yeah, there is a degree of luck that comes into play. But I think that you know,
I think this is interesting. I've been learning about like something similar in my sociology class, anthropology and sociology class,
yeah,
and people don't start on like level grounds.
no, they don't.
Like like it's we all start on different
Different
grounds, like
levels.
where you're born. Yeah, we're all on different levels. And a world where I would say is perfect or a utopia is where there is still competition, but that competition is there because we're still all on level grounds. But right now we're in a world where there is competition, but because let's say that guy was born from a rich family, he was able to go to the best schools
Yeah,
and he get a better job than a guy who probably worked harder than him but just
yeah,
happened to be born in a poor neighborhood or poor family or didn't get to go to a good school because he couldn't afford it.
that makes sense.
You
You
think
That's
know,
also
it's
true. Well, yeah, what do you have to say?
you think it's ever possible for a society like that? But I don't think it is.
no, but it's not. We're too far in.
It's like common ground, even so, right? Because
And if
again, even
and
if
if
you're on common ground, you have competition,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
But I think if
And
you're
if
born in the
anything,
West, sorry, one at a time. Serge, finish speaking, then Christian go. I'll go after.
So I was just saying, like, if there is competition, right? Some people are gonna be better, and eventually, right? Let's say your dad did better, your
yeah.
grandpa did better, whatever. There is gonna be some sort of, gap between the
Yeah.
average and the better. Yeah, so it'll never work
I
out.
mean, but then that comes out, but that's fair though, you know?
But isn't that
You've
what's
Yeah,
happening
but it's
right
a
now,
cycle. It's a cycle. It's a cycle. But like
right?
I was gonna answer Sedge's question and be like, yeah, I don't think that world is ever possible. Just because to the point where they're like, if we tried to go back to where everyone goes back to level ground, bro, the rich would just not comply, you know? At the end of the day, they're
Mm,
still setting policies that elevate them even more.
mm,
They lobby.
exactly.
They have the power.
That is the thing. But I think we in the West, you have, well, at least they're trying to make it that way. I mean, you got education. Everyone has, well, at least in the UK, probably in the US too. You have free access to education, free access to healthcare, and it kind of sets a scale, of like everyone. When you go into the education system, yeah, you could argue, private school's better than public school, but realistically, you're taking the same tests, and yeah, maybe I think everyone really has access to a laptop nowadays, or the school might provide you with one. And when it comes to education, you have this, it's you are starting on level ground to a degree.
No, you're
Would you
not.
say to how
No,
how
I
No,
disagree
you're
with that,
not.
bro.
Dude,
how?
I disagree
Bro,
heavily because
yeah,
if you go
true.
to I, you go compare a public school teacher to a private school teacher.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, the teaching is
Like
bad, but like
the
I mean
quality
nowadays,
and dude, the teaching is a big part because what you learn at school, like you learn a small part of what you learn at school is actually what you learn in the books. A big part is what you learn is the character part of it. And teachers at private schools in general are more equipped to teach the kids the character side of it better than a public school teacher for
yeah.
multiple reasons.
No, I can definitely see that, and they probably care about the students more. There's probably smaller
Yeah.
classes, which
So
benefit the
so
students.
then if I think one way, like in a country like United States where education is relatively, I'd say, decent at all levels, public to private school, I think to even elevate your private school, I mean your public school levels, is to just increase the pay of teachers, give them an incentive to actually want to cultivate the best kids, you know?
Yeah, I saw Vivek Ramaswamy. I mean, I'm not a massive fan, I'll be honest, but he came
Hmm.
out and he said that they should do what is it? I forgot what it was, but I forgot the name exactly, but I should know it. Oh, peace pay rate, where basically you get paid on grades. Teachers will get paid based on their students' grades. So the higher
Oh,
the
that's an
grades,
interesting.
I,
yeah.
I don't know about that one. Because teachers mock their own work usually. So
No, but
if
like,
you're getting paid more, would you be like, yo,
Okay, but then
let me break
you
you
know,
by?
yeah, I mean, I think it's a good idea to it, but then it falls through to a certain point where like you become, we've all been through school for a while. Yeah, grades are important, but they're not the sole. Like everyone says it. Yeah, grades
hmm
are very important, but like I think we can all agree that like to a certain extent they don't matter.
I agree. I agree. I don't think they matter that much. I agree with you.
My argument would be that like we would become into a society where teachers are not necessarily caring about the kids, they're caring about what the kids are what grade the kid is producing, more so than how the kid is actually doing as a person.
Mm. But could you argue, just devil's advocate, that you know what the kid produces is directly linked to how they're doing, like as an individual.
I mean, but then that goes into a different argument. Would be like just because I get an A in a class, does that mean like fully get the content? 'Cause I could cheat,
You
get
could,
an A.
but it's not really incentivizing students to cheat. It's more like it's incentivizing teachers to teach better. Because I understand both sides of the argument, where it's like some teachers might be lazy, especially at public schools. I mean, I don't
Hmm.
think any of us went to one, but especially at
Yeah.
public schools, a lot of teachers they might be lazy. They might not really care that much about the kids overall. But maybe by incentivizing, bro, I don't know how I don't know the word for it, but pay based on performance. Um,
Yeah.
I could
But
incentivize.
No.
that too, I think education is very unequal.
And Sej, wait, let me just answer this quickly. Sej, you said that the teachers mark their own work. Typically, they don't. I mean, like when we're talking about like final grades here, like when it goes to the
Oh, your
examiners.
finals. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, okay, that makes more sense then.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's valid.
Like, you
I
know,
don't know,
also
I
like
don't agree with that
education.
at all. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, you go. I've talked a lot. You go.
I was just gonna say, like, a lot of people, right, don't really know the content. They just know how to take the tests, you know?
Yeah,
I agree.
The very common thing.
that was one
Like,
argument I
they
was gonna
only
say.
know how to take tests. Like, they don't know what the content is. They just know how to answer questions.
That's why, like, I don't like IG A levels type of like teaching. More, I prefer the IB like system, just because I like, yeah, yes, you take tests, but there's a lot more things that you do than just taking tests, and that matter to your grade as well. You know,
Yeah.
like A levels, it's that one test. You mess up that test, you mess up your basically you kind of mess up your whole life.
Yeah.
You
And
know.
it's based on one subject. Like with IB, you have what, 9 different things.
Yeah, and like,
Like you F up
like
one subject, A levels, you're cooked.
yeah, and dude, like,
Cooked,
I
bro.
hate to say it, but like, dude, like in the corporate world, like you don't really take tests.
Yeah, you don't.
It's more like what you do at CAS, like what matters, working with people, like those
Yeah.
group works, those labs you work on, like those papers you write, like those matter more
Yeah.
because that's what you actually do.
Yeah.
You problem solve.
I would also argue
I
though. Okay, well, what do you want to say? Go.
yeah, I was just gonna say, I just real quick. You talked about the IB and like how much like the variety of like subject stuff. Do you think that helps, or do you think it would be better to just have one specific subject and then just specialize and go deeper into that?
Nah.
What?
I said, do you think it would be better to have a variety of like courses as the IB offers to like kind of discover? Do you think it would be better just as like from a young age you just have like one subject and you just specialize in it and you get as much knowledge as you can on it,
Variety is better.
right?
Oh, when you're
Yeah.
younger, variety, 100%. Because you don't really
Like,
know what you're doing when you're younger.
Mm.
that's the thing. It goes
Um,
down to like the same thing. Like public schools don't offer like
As
those
much.
those niche subjects that like a private school offers.
Because I
That
know a
is
man
also
on this
true.
call who wanted to be in the military,
Hmm.
when he was younger.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
What's
nah, no,
And look at
I
it
see
now.
what wait, what?
Otherwise, you're building robots, bro. Everyone's like geared to the same thing.
That's true.
yeah.
I feel
What do you
like
think of Mike Time? Oh, sorry, Tazi.
oh no, that's not my bad. Yeah, no, I do feel like that's amazing and that's great. But I also want to say, do you not think that there's also maybe some time spent on other subjects that kind of, in a way could kind of be, I don't know, like a bit like useless in a way? I'm not okay, useless is not maybe the right word, but maybe just not helpful to the student in what they're trying to achieve. So like if you're trying to be like a
What
pardon?
specific? You have one.
To give an example, and like this is no, like shade or anything, but like let's say you're trying to be like I don't know, a zoologist, right? So you're trying to work in like a zoo and like tell away species from other species, right? I
Mhm.
don't know how speaking in another language can help you, but I don't know. Maybe that's me. Maybe that's me.
Yeah, that is fair. I think that
I mean, yeah, it makes sense, but like, I feel like your example of language, like, okay, I get what you're trying to say, and I fully agree, but like, I feel like language is an important subject.
I also see what you're saying. Yeah, because it helps with like in the workspace being able to talk. Yeah,
I
Yeah,
think
no,
I think
yeah,
I think language is
just being able to
trash.
communicate.
I think language is trash. I think that
I,
English should be the
What?
only
I
language
think
that's taught. I think that every other language is practically useless. Let's be honest here. And
why
That's
why would you
that's
ever say that as a
why would you say
nationalist?
that?
Trash.
Language is
That's
rag.
that's very wrong.
It's
That's very
connected
wrong.
so
Thank
to
you.
your culture, bro.
It's
Yeah,
very
no, wait.
wrong.
Yeah, but I'm
Can I
saying
can I just
language
say
that
this?
should be taught. I'm saying language that should be taught, not like language you learn culturally at home.
Okay. I just feel like we've all had terrible like experiences learning a language
Mm.
in
I'm gonna
general.
say, I was gonna say,
That's why,
I
but like, bro, it goes a long way, bro.
Yeah, like it's so important to know someone else's
No, but the
language.
thing is,
Yeah,
like,
I
I
feel
think
like
that
It's really important.
no, but this is how I say it, right? Like, you look at the most, the countries everyone wants to go to. You look at the richest countries in terms of pay, in terms of,
it
just
changes all the
just
time,
where
though.
people works. I mean, but it's been pretty consistent for the past. It does change, of course, but I don't think it will change in our generation. And you look at these countries, it's probably America, it's probably the UK, it's probably, some European countries. You'd probably want to learn the language. You'd probably want to learn English because these are that's the language
Spanish,
that's going to
bro,
pay the most.
French.
Bro,
On
Spanish
average,
Chinese,
Spanish
bro.
countries are poor, bro. Spanish countries are poor, man.
what the Chinese language? No one learns that.
Yeah,
Like
but China,
we're not really
China,
taught Chinese
Bro.
language.
yeah, but China, yeah, to be fair,
You know the Chinese language is actually like if
it's the
you know
hardest
becoming a
language in the world.
translator. Some people say once you like get into it, it's
No,
easy.
is it?
Like for instance, you know Lucy Carroll, right? You know the way he's studying in China right now. He's been there maybe 2, 3 years now.
Yeah.
He's learning Chinese. Let's say he finishes his degree. You know, like even in Malawi, becoming a translator for those Chinese guys who run businesses in Malawi, that's a very, very, very good job just because of how much they pay.
That is fair,
So
yeah.
that's one of their
That
premium
is fair.
jobs. Like so it goes down to like learning like dude, Spanish, French, like because you understand that like English is big, but like it's not the most spoken language in the world.
Yeah, I understand that. But it's what's going to get you, okay, but like compared to every other language, English would get you paid the most. You look at any sports, any sports or like a major sports, major, yeah, like commentators for sports or major, I don't know, major businesses, major,
No.
just average pay. They all speak English, you know.
I mean,
But I would, yeah, Johnny, you go.
I would argue that, like, I don't think English. I mean, okay, wait. English matters if you're in an English-speaking country. Like,
But I'm saying the
like
English
countries
speaking
such as.
countries pay the most.
Okay, what about them?
They have the most opportunity.
Is that true?
Thing with English,
I feel like we need a fact check on that one.
Exactly. I don't
uh,
like. 'Cause I don't think
That's
thing
so.
with
what do you mean you need a
English is
fact check
right.
on that? It's a
Thing with
fact.
Bro,
English is
Amir,
it's
I
like
feel like
That's like a you don't
no,
have
I
to
gotta pick a
switch
bone
that
here,
up.
bro. No, you could you getting a job in Switzerland. Let's say you got a job in Switzerland versus a job in the United States. You'd probably get paid better in Switzerland, and Switzerland is a French-speaking country,
Maybe,
Italian,
but
and
nobody
German-speaking
wants to
country.
live in Switzerland. Like, I mean,
I think
What?
anyone would
What?
love to live in Switzerland.
Whoa, that's completely wrong.
no, but I mean, like,
That's
First of all,
wrong.
I would like to say
but look,
I
I'm
want
talking, I'm
citizenship.
talking, I'm talking like, you
I
get
hope
military security.
Switzerland like gives you a lifetime ban.
I'm never gonna go to
I
those
want.
countries anyway.
I'm gonna be honest. I want citizenship from Switzerland. So if there's any officials from
You
the
want
government listening,
citizenship anywhere outside? Okay, be quiet.
that's crazy.
Bro,
That's
English though is like the most okay, it's not the most spoken language, but people know like basic words. That's why it's the most useful. You go to a European country, people you can speak English. Like let's say Spanish is the most spoken language in the world, right? I think.
Yeah.
If I go, let's say China and speak Spanish, no one's gonna fucking understand me. But if I speak
Yeah,
English, people are most likely to understand me, right? Even in Korea, Japan,
Hmm.
I don't
def-
know, some Slovakian country, even in Africa.
It's the
But if I
most
speak
important
Spanish,
language.
or
It's the,
maybe
it's
even
the most
Chinese,
important
but bro,
language.
they
I would
won't.
argue, bro, if you went to Africa, I feel like French should be, and then just because of like we go down back into colonization,
Yeah.
back into them Columbus
Okay,
days.
but you look at the
Like
richest
even if
countries in
they speak
Africa,
Spanish,
right?
it's
Nigeria.
If we trace the language,
Okay, but you look at the richest countries in Africa, Nigeria and South Africa, both English speaking. Well, yeah, both English speaking countries. The French countries, they don't matter, is what I'm saying. They don't have. I
no,
mean,
that's
Congo has a
Well,
lot of
that's
minerals, and
I don't agree with that.
Congo, Cameroon, Senegal.
but they're
I
not
don't agree with
Congo is
that.
one of the
But I'm saying
poorest
even
countries in
these
Africa.
French-speaking countries, right? They speak English as well, somewhat. That's what I'm saying. I agree in a sense that it is one of the most important languages.
No, English is
100%.
Even if you're
I
trying
feel
to
No,
I
get
feel
no, it
like
is, it is, it is.
I feel like if we circle back to like this argument that Mir said that like English should
Yeah.
be the only language, I would
Okay,
very
that's
strongly
wrong.
disagree.
no,
That's wrong.
it's
Yeah, I
okay, but
disagree
it
with
should
that.
be the
But
primary.
I
It
but
should
I
be the
okay, but yeah, I do agree to the point where like English should be one of those languages that is taught like universally.
Everywhere, yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
yeah, because I
But
mean,
Because
I
like,
mean, it depends. It depends.
It
yeah,
You
depends.
know why?
it does depend
Because
though.
like I'll be honest, if them, Saudi Arabian princes come over and they offer you that money, bro, I'll start speaking Arabic right now, bro. You feel me? Like
How
I
does this
feel
make
like
any sense, bro?
this
oh,
guy's
kick him out the call. Kick him out the
nah,
call. I don't know what he's saying.
Like,
no,
bro,
no,
it
but like
makes sense, but
honestly,
like, how does this correlate?
I
no,
don't
because
kick him out the call, bro.
I'm the leader, man. I'm not the leader.
wait, you muted.
No, no,
No,
no,
you
nobody.
should hear.
But can you hear him? Can you
Okay.
hear him? I can't hear him. I can't hear him.
Does he talk? Tata
Wait,
talk.
how do you talk? Tata talk?
Can you hear
Tata.
Yeah,
me?
yeah.
Can you hear
Yeah,
me?
yeah,
No.
we can.
Yeah, no, like okay, I
Bro.
said that.
I
I
was
said that.
trying to get you guys to pretend that we couldn't hear him, but we
Yes,
could
but
actually hear him.
but
Oh,
Sej, the fucking retard. Sej, you're actually a
Sorry.
retard.
oh,
You
I
guys are
didn't
actually
know.
so dumb.
No, I didn't know. I didn't.
No,
No, I said
but I played
very
along.
wrong.
Fucking Sej.
Just turn your camera on, bro.
Yeah, stop being
But
like La La
Lying
Tata.
down, that's right.
Stop being an
And
insult.
turn your camera on.
Sej, let me
Search
see your
doesn't turn his
face.
camera on. I'm turning mine off.
Oh my god,
But
look at
damn,
that
you
sexy
ugly as
ass.
hell, bro.
Oh my days.
Don't listen to him. You're pretty. Don't listen to him. Sej.
You got the earring on.
Jealous.
You got the earring on.
Like a fat.
Yeah. You say I
You
got
know,
the
How do you
hook. I
sleep with that
don't.
on?
I wear the
How do you
thing.
sleep with the earring
No,
on?
I take it off when I sleep. Or
I
like when
sleep
I'm
with
lying
mine
down.
on. I sleep with mine on.
Bro, that shit
Yeah,
hurts,
me
bro.
too.
Yeah, I was gonna say it might hurt,
Bro.
but not like
It doesn't
okay. What I was
hurt.
trying to say
Out in English
It only hurt. It doesn't hurt, bro. It feels
is the
normal.
No,
most.
no, it hurts the first like the first
It's
few weeks. Like after you get it hurt.
Yeah.
for
That's
English,
right.
right? Like it's hard. It's a hard to learn language. There's too many exceptions, right?
Too much slang.
Like too much. Like, there's
that's
just like, it's just a weird language, It's like a hard to learn language to get into, but it's too late now, because too
But I
many
feel
people
like,
know it.
bro,
We can't
I
be
feel
like, we're
like,
switching this.
nah, I feel
Ah,
like
that's
just
every
it comes
language,
down to the teaching, bro. Yeah, it just comes down to the teaching. But how many people have we seen at like the school we went to for like primary, right? Like how many people have we seen that like could never speak English? Have come through the school in like 2 3 years time. Like their first year they gain like proficiency, and they gain even more proficiency, and then they become even better than us, like even more articulate than us.
Yeah. You
Mm,
got like even like
a
Johnny.
lot.
If you heard Johnny's accent when he first came to the
I
first
have
that
came
was
in your
problems.
channel,
horrid.
it was
That
it
was
was it was
horrid. It
actually
was
really
horrid.
bad. It was
It's
actually
a
really bad.
horror. Nah, you're tweaking though.
It was so
No,
bad. Like
bro. No, bro. Like, 'cause it was actually really, really bad. Like, I genuinely don't think you understand.
The
Horrid.
accent, I feel like accent comes is different though, because you can have an accent
Mm,
but still be able to communicate.
mm.
yeah,
Like
definitely.
obviously your accent does still help you like articulate better, but like you having an accent doesn't mean like you can communicate.
No,
There's a
definitely.
difference.
Yeah, to be fair, that is true.
I got a question. Do you think an accent is better to have in modern day world, or do you think it's just better to not even have an accent?
Doesn't matter, I think.
What the?
No, because like
I feel like you're gonna have an accent regardless, dude. Kick him off the call.
now wait, hold on.
Such a silly question.
You just anything, bro.
Nah, but I'm just saying like because you know how like accents can like they're
Oh
harder
my
to like
days. Yeah, I've been
accent,
saying this for years. I've been saying he's so stupid for years. Nobody listens to me.
no,
Nobody listens to me.
no, that's not the case. That's not the case. No, because like like
Fuck.
depending on like what type of like accent it is, it's like sometimes it could be harder to like understand something. So I was like, could it be
How
then
does
like
anyone listen to this guy? Bro, I swear, in like year 10, remember we had like debates at school? I swear Tazi's team won.
No,
Bro,
he
On
it
did
the
was
win.
so
He did.
ridiculous.
No,
It
he
was
did
so
win. He
ridiculous.
won. He won.
You
it
know
was on
what?
the
Every time.
Yeah,
Paris
remember,
agreement, right?
but it was
Every
it was
time.
because he was just being, you know what I mean? It wasn't because of the points.
It was just
It was just
no,
because
no, yeah,
he's
exactly.
screaming.
He just speaks like this, where he thinks he sounds like smart. He's not being smart, bro. If you actually listen to what he's saying,
Yeah,
it is the most silly
nah,
stuff ever. Sometimes
Guys, it's
We still
it's
love you, Tati. Though we still love you.
it's sure. Don't even worry about it. It's just I'm him. I don't know what else you want me to say. When it's pressure, when it's time to be clutch, I'm him. You know what? I don't know what else you want me to say, but yeah, hold that L, Mir. But that's what I'm gonna say.
That's a big banana, Johnny.
That is a big banana.
Yes, sir. Yes, it
That
is.
is a big banana.
You know grapes are better. Serge likes grapes. You should ask him.
Why do you say I don't get that joke? What is grape?
He's basically saying you like the
If you
grape.
if you know, no, 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 no. If you know, you know. If you know, you know. Don't. If you know,
What?
you know. If you know, you
Like
know,
what?
bro. Don't. No, don't
No,
worry
I'm
about it, bro. If you
saying
know, you know.
Serge likes grapes.
You're no shit, you didn't like grapes on you fat as fuck, bro. You don't like junk food,
Bro,
bro. You've never had a fruit in your life, bro.
Young
bro.
young
Unbelievable.
Philly, young
No, no, no,
young
wait, no, no,
Philly.
no, 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 wait, wait, bro. You know, I didn't even say it. It's always on my dick, bro.
Bro,
And I
me, I was
said it.
gonna explain it and you go, if you know, you know.
I said if you know, you know.
You explain
If
it.
you know, you know.
Oh,
I don't
did you
even
see
think I know. Forget it.
Young Philly pleaded not guilty.
The thing is,
Oh
like,
yeah, I
if
saw
you were in
Almost,
his
bro.
position, you'd have to. Like, let's say you did something like that, you would have to, right?
Yeah,
Because
Bro,
bro.
bro.
if you
Like
plead guilty,
regardless,
you're
his
cooked.
career is done.
His career's done
But like
anyway.
regardless, his career is done.
It's gone, yeah.
Does a celebrity or like a famous person ever came out and said, "Yo, I did it," you know, or now?
Yeah, there's no ways.
Has it ever been a case where they're like, "Yo, I did do that shit,"
But I
or
feel
like,
like even if you did it, like you can like okay, let's say even if it wasn't a charge like that crazy, small charge. I feel like when you're in the limelight like that, you gotta deny till you die. Because like
Deny
even
till
the
you die.
smallest of charges become
Bar,
magnified.
bar.
Even the smallest charges become
you know,
magnified.
these cases and shit, like celebrities, right? Boy, it doesn't do shit to them. Like McGregor, you saw McGregor get charged for
Ooh,
rape,
hey,
and look
this,
at him now, he's still fucking popping. No one
I mean,
cares.
Yeah.
bro.
Too
I mean,
famous.
it
They
depends.
have too much money.
Depends. Nah.
nah, you know what?
It,
This is what I'm
it
gonna say.
ruins your career, bro.
No,
Mm.
Especially
bro, look at McGregor.
if it's a serious charge, it ruins your career.
But do you
But
think
look
do
at
you think that
McGregor. He was charged of rape, and they lost.
do you think it can be
And you look at
fabricated
him.
at times? Do you think the government, you know,
100%
yeah, especially with the
governments.
sexual assault cases, I mean, to guys, right? I mean, it's such a useful tool because you get cancelled, your whole career is ruined, all your sponsors cancel you, especially for someone like Philly, you know.
They're like
And you get money as
psyops of that.
well. And you get
Yeah,
money as well.
especially if you're
The
pushing
Which you get
government,
money.
ideologies
like,
that go against
I think we're in a
yeah,
tricky point in the world. I think we're in a tricky point in time where, rape is a serious issue. Rape is a serious issue.
hmm
And
grape.
uh, grape is a serious issue. And the fact that also that people are also lying about it to tear people down, I think is also a very serious issue. And how do we navigate that to the point where we can get a balance where we're actually solving the injustices, rather than actually tearing people down.
Yeah,
Oh, wait, Mir, I have a question for you, man.
yeah. Ask away.
What's your thoughts on the men that come out and say, "I've been raped by a woman"?
Well, sometimes it can be accurate. I mean, you look at, I mean, maybe
Impossible.
not graped, but like essayed. Like they could be essayed
Mm.
for sure. I mean, you look at what is it, the Johnny Depp guy? What's his name? Johnny Depp, right? The Pirates
Yeah,
of the Caribbean
yeah,
guy.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
his wife came out said, "Oh, he was essaying me." It turned out she was essaying him. She got fined more. I mean, there was some evidence that he did something to her, but overall, I mean, she essayed him. She essayed him. I think I think the government, like, this is the problem with liberalism, which I just go completely against. I think it just favors women way more than it favors men. This can go into the next topic I was going to ask about. The question was, who has it harder today, men or women? And I'll leave you guys to answer that. I'll be back. I'm gonna go to the bathroom quickly. Um,
And that's a
been
hard
drinking,
question.
been drinking too much
what was
water.
the
You know what I'm saying?
question? What was the question?
Who has it hardest today, men or
Like,
women?
Sorry?
But isn't today today or yesterday, 5 years ago?
no, no,
Say
today,
what? What? What did you say?
like right now, the second. Who has it
Bro,
harder?
I
Who
could
has it
argue
harder
that
in the world, men or women? I say,
it's-
can we please let Tata go first?
You can go first. You can go first though. You can go first.
thoughts, no thoughts, no
Man,
ideas.
first, women still have it harder than men, even
Yeah,
nowadays.
I'd
Okay,
argue
sure.
the same. But
I
that's not
mean,
to say that men have it easy.
No, no, I'm not saying we have it easy or whatever. I'm just
Yeah,
saying, okay, we know it's life, right? Both is hard, but women still have it harder than us.
yeah, for sure. But the world is a patriarchy. We live in a patriarchy.
Exactly. Like the
yeah.
man run the world.
Yeah, simply.
No, I agree
Pause.
100%.
Hold on, wait. Let me try something. Let me add a little spice. You feel me? I'm gonna try to cook right now, and let's see if it's edible or if it's just straight up horrid. Okay.
All right, go ahead,
So
bro.
I wanted to say, okay, I get like we're looking at the point from like two genders, but bro, in retrospect, if we look at it, isn't everybody's life like it's kind of hard to kind of because some people's lives are very different compared to like if you're looking at just at the individual's base, right? You can take like a person who comes from maybe like from like coming from like a war country, right? Their lives are gonna be a
Oh
bit
yeah,
more harder than someone who comes from like a bit more of like a what's it
Oh
called again?
fuck.
A first world country. So
You
I feel
know,
like in that way, yeah. Sorry.
there's a word that we call people like Tazi. You're an intersectional feminist.
What's
What
that?
does that mean?
What does that mean? What does that
That
mean?
means that you like to section women, literally.
Wait, nah. I love all people. Let
Wait,
me just make that.
what point did he make?
I'm
What was his
joking.
point?
He made a good
He's
point.
too
He made a
sweet.
good point. He did make
I
a
mean,
good
I
point.
cooks though, right? You're eating
Yeah,
it
keep
though,
going,
right? You're eating.
keep going.
Don't
he
lie.
cooked. He cooked.
Keep going, bro. Keep going, bro. Keep
Keep
cooking.
keep talking.
He cooked,
Nah,
man.
that's all I had, bro. That's all I
Cook some
had.
more.
Once Samir came, I was nah. You're not eating any, bro.
He
You're
cooked,
starving.
bro. He cooked. I don't even lie, bro. You might have
Well,
to get kicked off your own stream, bro.
okay, buddy. But you know what? I mean, I'll just answer the question. I don't know if you guys have, but I think men have it harder nowadays when it comes to just life overall. Um, I think that divorce
Why?
courts,
Why?
divorce courts favor women.
Why?
Um, and in general, I mean, social media, whole bunch of other things, they all favor women. I mean, drastically. Even me as a streamer, right? I mean, it's so much easier for women to just come on stream or on Twitch and get so many more views. You know,
What, Mir, why is that though? It's men watching these things. You know that, right?
yeah, I know, but it's because they're women. It's because they
No,
look pretty.
No,
Okay,
bro.
man.
Nah, I feel like
No, no,
we're in a
no.
phase where we're moving in transition where the patriarchy that we live in and we still live in, it's becoming diluted.
mm,
It
And
is,
that's why
but
we're looking at it like,
that's why I'm a
and that's why we're
reaction.
looking at it as it's becoming harder.
No, I think it is. I think it just genuinely is. I think, bro, literally, you can go on OnlyFans and as a girl and make hundreds of millions of dollars. Like, I can't do that. Guy can't do that. You look at the divorce
Like,
courts.
bro,
Look at the divorce courts. You know, actually, right now, women actually have more rights than men do. If you actually look at the stats, when it comes to
What
like getting
type
a
but
of?
like,
job, for example, if you want to get a job, because companies want to be more diverse and affirmative action, they're more likely to hire a woman over a man.
Yes, yes, but me, the only reason that they need women is because of the patriarchal society we already built.
yeah, they're trying to break it down. They're trying to make it even.
yeah, exactly.
How is
Because
that
there's already
even
so
though?
much men in the company. Think,
It's
what do you
yeah.
mean? It is even.
No,
Because
but it
there's
Like
should
already
be.
so
mirror.
much males in the company.
No, but
And
it
now
should be
It
who's
is.
to
better.
add a
It should be
diverse
who's better.
hire,
It should be who's
right?
better. That's because the men are better, maybe better at work.
You haven't
It's
given
not
the women
because
a
the women are
chance. You
better.
haven't given the women a chance. You haven't
Maybe
given the
that.
women a
Yeah.
chance.
No, no. When
We need to do.
if you actually look at the stats, women typically qualify. I mean, do degrees that are more like socialist, which is like nursing or you know
Okay, but is it
psychology
I already?
or subjects like
Yeah.
this. Men typically do STEM subjects,
Let's
engineering,
turn your camera
finance,
on.
economics. I don't know yet. Turn your camera on and things like this, right? And that's why, in the jobs, in the job sectors, when you look at major jobs like engineering and stuff, they're more male dominated. But when you look at like nursing, it's woman dominated. When you look at like daycare, it's women dominated. It depends where the field of
But
work is. But to
I think
hire
it's
someone who has like less qualifications, but just because they're women, or just because they're of a certain disposition, I don't know if that's what's best for the economy. I don't know if that's what's best for the country. I think that's just, I just think that's a bad decision.
I no, I'm gonna rebuttal you, and I think it comes down to the norms that we've set as a society as well. And again, we're moving into a point where becoming being a man as a nurse is becoming normalized now. We're moving
Yeah.
into that. We're moving into that realm
But men
where it's
don't want to
becoming
be
more
nurses.
even.
But men don't want to become nurses.
What? What?
That's why
Wait,
there's
what?
so
Bro,
What?
let's
there's
be
more male nurses. I don't even know this by a fact, but I could probably bet that there's more male nurses today than there probably were 10 years ago.
of course,
Yeah,
sure.
100%.
Sure, but I mean most men
Why is that?
typically
No. I'll ask you now. Why is that? Is that because men don't want to be nurses?
no, maybe that's because of, population increase. That could be because of
Yeah.
that could
We
be
got him, boys. We
no,
got
like
him.
it's true though. It could be because of population increase. It could be because, the society is becoming more femme-centric and men want to become nurses and stuff. I would even argue that the men that
But
want to be become nurses, they're a certain type of men. They're a certain type of guy and I don't
type
know.
of guy is that?
Yeah, I mean, we could.
Elaborate.
There's no need for me to elaborate. I think everyone understands what I'm trying to say.
I know a lot of male nurses that do it for survival.
Yeah.
Ooh, bars,
I
bars,
mean,
Also, I do know a lot of male nurses who also do it because they love their job.
I mean,
bars. Keep going, keep going.
bro, can you
I have an
please,
uncle
Tata
also nurse.
Lala, can you please quiet down? You're hurting the quality of the stream.
Just squiggly
Are
hairline.
you 5 years old?
That's my boy, though. Don't talk to
I
my boy like that.
He's-
It's maybe your stream, but don't talk to my boy like that.
Yeah, that's what.
I'm
Like,
gonna
can
get
I
you.
just?
I'm gonna get you banned. I'm gonna get you banned.
Get
Yeah.
me banned.
Can I? Yeah.
Oh
Bro,
no. Because it's your stream, you think you can talk like that to me?
bro, I'll clip you up. Post you on TikTok.
Post me.
Bro,
No.
put your
Because I'm
name there.
black,
I'll
you think you
put your
can treat
full
me like
name.
this?
Put your full
Because I'm
name.
black, you think
Poochie, bro.
because I'm black, you think you can treat me like this?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I'm gonna post you now. How about that?
No way, man. No way. Try me, bro. I'm uncancelable. Uncancelable. Fuck, man. Whatever.
Cancelable and
Uh,
uncancelable.
Uncancel. Whatever, bro. You know what I mean.
There we
But
said you
no,
can get
bro.
you
But it's
can
a fair
uncancel
point. It's a
people.
fair point, though. You can't really. I understand. Yeah, there's more male nurses and stuff. But let's be honest here. Most men typically pick like economics, business, finance, and the reason is because I think there's an inherent need there because for providing. I think that men naturally, biologically, have that innate desire
I don't
to
think it's a
provide.
biological. I don't think it's biological. I think it's a norm that we've
I don't
set
think it's
in
a norm.
as society.
I think that we all evolve, and I understand that. But I think there's biological norms. I think the way we are, okay, so the way we have been in, for hundreds of years, it, if we act in certain ways, that kind of progresses to who we're gonna be now. You know what I mean? So what we do as a kid makes us who we are now. The same way what our
So
ancestors did.
okay. So explain to me a man who's married to a wife who provides more. What does that mean? That just like a man just is missing that biological gene?
I'm not saying he's missing that biological gene, and I'm talking in general here. I'm not saying all men have this biological gene, but I would say
Okay, we're
most men do.
generalizing.
I'm generalizing, and typically, if we do generalize that, typically, in most situations, the men earn more than women. The men earns more than the woman does, and you look at the West nowadays, you see, things starting to change. You start to see women, earning more than men do. And I would even argue that that's one of the reasons why
Is
the
that a
divorce.
bad thing though?
No, but I would argue that's one of the reasons why the divorce rate is so high. I think that women lose respect for their man if the man earns less.
But I think it depends on your relationship, bro.
I think that
You ever
women.
marry
I would
you ever
never.
marry a woman
Never.
that earns more than you?
Mm-mm.
Yes.
I don't know. I'm about my bag, bro. I'm marrying that woman any day,
I
though.
would
I
never.
don't
I
care
am
as
that
well, bro.
woman.
I don't care, bro. I'm not gonna marry you based on your
I'm
income.
about my
What do you want
bag.
about?
Yeah, I
No,
know,
but
and
if I
wait.
love her, I love her, bro. If I love her, I love
You
her.
love
It's
her.
just stuff
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
sure, that's fine. You love her, and I'm not gonna marry based on my
Okay,
income.
but what if you're earning like 1 million and she's earning 1,000,001?
If you're earning 1 million and she's earning 1,000,001,
Yeah.
look, it's not
I'll
that, it's
retire,
not too
bro.
different, but because I can still
I'll
provide
retire.
without her having to. When I say this, I'm talking about like she's paying the rent, she's paying for dinner. You know what I mean?
Okay.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Nah, okay, I get that. I get that. Me personally, but I think that's a personal thing, though.
No, but I
If
think
she
Yeah.
wants to be, she can pay, bro.
yeah, okay, but people like
Like,
Jonathan and Sedge, like they say stuff like this, but you have to look at it from like when you're getting married. This is you're signing a contract, you're signing a paper. The government's getting involved. You could lose half your money. You have to look at it like a business. You,
and a prenup, bro.
you could get a prenup, but there's still
So
like certain things that could mess it up. You have
no,
to look at it like a business, and typically when women earn more, there's a higher rate of divorce. You can probably, I don't have the exact statistics, but you could ask most women this. Most women, when you ask them, they'll say, I want my man earning more than me. Most women say
That's
that.
fine.
I
And
feel
that's
like that's
fine,
just a
though.
norm.
And
That's a
and I
norm in society.
I think it's a norm, but I think
Yeah.
it's yeah, but I mean it's a norm for a reason, is what I'm saying.
yeah, I
It,
Is it a
it,
don't
norm
it's
too.
for a
this
reason, or
it's the
is it a
same.
norm for a reason because we've made it the reason?
Yeah, but I think that's just the
Yeah.
way things were meant to be. I think that the same
That's a
reason why
big claim. That's a big claim.
I think
Meant to be
No,
the
it's not
correct.
though.
That's a
It's
correct.
been like
That's
that
the
since
correct.
back then. What happened?
So
Like men in the primal days, right? They were the one providing, going to hunt for food, whatever. It's
yeah.
been like that for like millions of thousands of years.
And
So
it's
is it
worked
not?
though, and it's worked. It's worked
Right?
because no, I remember hearing this on a
does it
podcast
work?
that I watched.
No, but like no, it's
Define a
worked
work.
for
Define a
you.
work. Define a work.
Yeah, it's worked for you. It's not worked for a woman who's
Yeah,
struggling,
that's what I'm thinking as
who
well.
deserves to be a CEO, but she can't get to that position because the patriarchy is not letting her.
The thing is, right? I would argue that. Okay, first let me touch on this on the first point, right? I heard this quote. I think you know what? I'm not gonna quote the name here.
That's
You
that
know,
motherfucker from Boondocks, bro.
I'm not gonna
Tony,
quote the
who
name
are
here.
these guests you're bringing
Yeah,
on?
who are these people,
Bro, he's
man?
got
Who
he's
are
got the
these
guy from
guests?
Boondocks, bro. He's got the guy
Who are
from
these,
Boondocks.
right? What's his name? Riley? Or the other
Yeah.
guy?
Tell him I say hi.
Okay, bro.
Anyways, go on.
No, but I was gonna say
He's
that
a
there's this famous
he's a
quote,
Huey.
and it goes, the only reason the patriarchy has lasted as long as it is not because there has been no opportunity for a matriarchy to arise. It's just that because the probability that there was only ever patriarchies and that's always the thing is so unlikely. So you would think that there was a matriarchy at a time or point in history. And the point goes, if there's only ever been patriarchies, that means every single matriarchy that's come into existence in the past was destroyed by a patriarchy because it wasn't dominant enough, because it didn't work, or it fell off. And I would also argue that I think it is innate to a degree. I think the same reason why, women like taller men, the same reason why, women like, stronger or bigger, or, men who earn more, or, yeah, typically men like that is because they want someone who's more dominant than them. And I think that we were set up in a way where, men, I don't think that they can be two leaders in a relationship. I think they should be one leader in a relationship, just like, typically there always is a leader in the relationship. You can't both be leaders because then that creates conflict. And I think typically it works better when the man is the leader in the relationship. That's just that's just how I see it, though.
There have been like successful matriarchies though. Cleopatra,
Bingo. Yeah,
right?
that's true.
Cleopatra.
Big.
No, but I mean,
Oh, yes, that's
yeah, Cleopatra, sure, but the society was still men were the leaders, like in the household. You understand what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
Like the men was, yeah, like it was
But
still
going back to
patriarchal.
CK's point, right? Like way before
also as
when we
well.
start,
Don't forget also.
Sorry, what do you
like
say?
going back to Christian's
Yeah.
point. So going back to Christian's point, like at the start of
Dropping
the
the
stream, right?
Govy is a little crazy.
Hmm?
Oh,
You dropped my
K9,
governmental.
K9.
I'm
K9.
My
joking. I don't
bad,
care.
G.
I don't care.
K9, sorry, going back to what K9 was saying, like at the start of the stream, just because it worked before doesn't mean it'll work now, right? Society's changing.
Mm,
But
Just because it's worked.
I'm changing. You're changing me. I'm changing as well. We're
yeah,
all
but what I'm
changing.
saying is, is,
You're
is that
you're
change
not
better?
changing with the times.
No, but what,
Yes.
what I'm saying is that change better for society because we haven't seen what a matriarchy is going to bring. It's like an experiment. We don't know what's going to happen. right? Why would we go and experiment, things that might work, things that might not?
So
Because if it ends up
you're
not
not a
working,
risk taker. You're not a risk taker.
I'm a risk taker, but I think that sometimes,
Mm,
You went through the PYP. They failed you.
they might have.
Brother,
No, no,
look,
no.
entrepreneurship.
look, look what's happening right now with the patriarchy. It's not working. Our economy is failing. Most countries.
But we don't
It's
live.
time for
I would
change.
argue we don't even live in a patriarchy anymore. As I said before, I think women
We
have
still
more
do,
rights
Oh,
than
bro.
we
men.
still do, but
How?
We
we
do.
still
We def.
do.
How?
We
How
We
do we?
still do, but
How?
definitely do.
women
We
are
Look at
fighting.
Okay.
100
How do we
Okay.
live
richest
in a
Okay.
people.
patriarchy right
Okay.
now?
Poor men.
Mir.
Women have more rights than men. How can you
We've
say
never.
otherwise?
A woman in the
We've
United
never
States
had.
still does not have the right to have an
Yes.
abortion.
Yes.
Oh
We've
my
never had a
days,
female
bro.
president
That's
in our
that's
lives before.
delegated to the state. It's not. They don't have the right. They do have the right to have the abortion. And at the end of the day, who makes the decision? Let's say that Let's say you're in a liberal
Men
state.
make the decision. Men make the
Oh
decision.
my days, bro. But can we be? If
Um.
we go to a
I
liberal
literally
state,
have notes on you. Let me pull up my notes on this.
pull up your notes.
Intersection on
Because
There's
I don't
no
feminists.
see
men in power,
notes.
though. That's the thing.
I have
Huh?
notes on intersectional feminists, radical
Bro,
feminists, and liberal feminists.
what? What do
Well,
you
There's
what
say?
more
they are and
men
what
in
they
power.
argue.
Yeah, but the men have
Al-
voted into
Also,
power.
I'll just like to really quickly touch on it, right? I think just even from the standpoint of a society, you will, especially because you know how society works, you have roles that need to be filled up. If you're somebody who's trying to, like, for example, let's say you're an employer of a company, right, and you're looking for people, the more people you have, the more options you can to pick the best suitable option. You're kind of restricting yourself if you're just looking at one gender as opposed to having both genders. Where, for example, you could have somebody that could offer maybe, for example, like, you know what I mean, something else that somebody else couldn't other offer. If that makes any
But
sense,
it's just
you're having a big more of an open like field.
okay, sure. I mean, the argument was never that they're restricting women from working. They just pick the men because sometimes, or in certain situations, the men are better at the work. Whereas now they're just picking women based off because they're women, but even if they don't meet the same qualifications or have the same qualifications that men do for that certain job. That's what affirmative action is, and it works for different dispositions as well. So race and a whole
But
bunch of other
like,
things. But
but like women were not getting employed in those positions for the same reason that like I feel like your argument is your argue. I feel like in general, and tell me if I'm wrong, that you
mhm.
think that you argue that we're not in a patriarchy. I'm arguing that we are, and you think a patriarchy is the best way possible.
I think a patriarchy is what's worked.
But and that's what is best, right? That's what you're
And what?
arguing
Oh,
basically.
wait. And what's your proof again that it's
Tell me if I'm
working?
wrong.
This work?
I mean, we're here, aren't we?
Okay, it's working for you. Is it
That's the
working for
proof in
everyone
of, in
else?
of itself, huh?
Okay, so
Yes.
but okay, just because we're here, does that mean it's working?
I
Yes,
mean,
but we're
it's
men.
worked
You
in
know what I mean?
history.
We are men. All of us here are men.
I mean, but
So,
yeah, but
like,
you look.
obviously,
Okay, but sure,
so
but you
obviously
look
it's
at
working
like
for us.
okay, but you look at like divorce rates now. You look at like mental health now. I mean, they're at all-time low in comparison to the past. You could argue, yeah, there wasn't
Okay,
as
but you
many
could argue you could
resources.
argue the same for women. I bet we could find statistics that also show that like the disparities between men and women. That women were actually like I bet we could find a point in time where divorces would probably favor
Okay.
men.
And also
The thing
at the
is,
same
right?
time, economies are also low at the same time.
Yeah,
Economies are
because men
low,
are in power
bro.
positions.
What are you talking about? Yeah, economies are low right now, but that's nothing to do with patriarchy. Anyway, no, but okay, you know what? America and the West is you could I believe is a matriarchy right now. Eastern Europe and
Most definitely
the
not.
Middle East. Jonathan, please let me speak. Okay,
Most definitely. Oh, continue.
I feel like if
Continue.
we had more women in power, we'd have less wars.
that's ridiculous. I think it would be the complete opposite.
I think that's a solid point.
I think
I also
that's
have
the
to.
most ridiculous point I've ever
Dude, there's literally theories on this mirror.
heard. How so?
Because women are more
Like,
compassionate.
yeah, because fighting it's a male, it's a masculine characteristic.
Yeah.
You
And
think
the-
you know
and
what
this is not this.
you would
No, no.
think that
Okay.
no. Can
No,
can I
no,
can I
no, no. I'm
debunk?
here.
Okay, finish.
Let me finish. All right, what was I even gonna say? Okay, fighting is a male characteristic, right? And I'm not saying that we should annex all men out of power, but I think in
This is crazy.
powerful, and I'm not saying that there's no women in powerful positions now because there very much are.
Hmm.
I'm saying at those very top positions, we need more women, and like positions in like the Trumps, Putin's. I feel like we need more women.
Mm-hmm.
And there's literally theories on this. If you read I think it's the radical feminist theory. It argues, and I was just saying the intersectional um, feminist theory argues the same way Tazi was arguing that like all for instance upper class and middle and lower class women experience the patriarchy in different ways, and the norms that we've set in society it's what's perpetuating this patriarchy. And I'd like to finish, but and I'm done talking for a while now. Is that like you argue for patriarchy, and tell me if I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's fine. So I know we're in that at the end of the day we're never gonna agree on this argument.
Okay, but let me just say this because you guys talking about the violence thing. I think women are actually more violent. You look at the most violent couples, it's actually lesbian couples. They're the most violent couple in the in terms
Let's
of
base this on statistics.
yeah. Look at the statistics. You can look at the most I think it's abusive crimes. Um, it is lesbian couples, and
Generally, men are statistically more likely to commit violent acts
okay,
than
wait,
women.
Can I speak? Can I speak?
Yeah, no, go.
I would argue that most of the violent acts that women enact on men go unreported. They go undocumented because you think men are gonna go out and say, "Oh, my wife hit me today. Oh, my girl slapped me today." No, they won't. No, they won't. But if it was done the other way around, then the woman's 100% going to the police. She's 100% crying about it. Men aren't, because I mean it doesn't hurt typically, when a woman slaps you or something. But men are typically less likely to, go to the police. They're less likely to do anything about it. So that's why I would say, I would say it's just undocumented. I would say, but I would argue that
Is that a good thing though?
I'm not saying it's a good thing, but what I'm saying is, you guys said that men are less
Is it a good thing
likely.
that if I punch you today and you go home, you'll be
I don't
fine,
think
and I'll punch
violence
you
is
again
good.
tomorrow, and you go home again and I'll punch you again the next day, and I'll punch you even harder the other day?
But I mean that's typically
Oh,
no, but that's like an extreme hypothetical. Like we're talking like
That's basically what you're saying, man.
no, I mean if you understand what I'm
It's
saying,
toxic masculinity, basically,
it's not
that men
toxic.
are not reporting.
It's toxic masculinity, yeah, because it doesn't hurt. I mean, it's not like women are punching men up every day. I mean, so yeah, sometimes let's say they get angry, they might slap you here and there. It's not like men are gonna snitch about that.
Yeah, so
I
it's
mean,
is that not a good thing then? That like it doesn't hurt, that like when men fight that it actually hurts? And if we take
of
this
course,
analogy and blow it up onto a
but
global
that doesn't
scale.
mean yeah, but does that mean men are less violent? That means you know what I mean. You argued violent
Oh no, but
cases.
no,
I
no,
would say
but
women
I
are
no,
more
no, no, no,
violent,
but
but they just don't have they don't have the strength to
no,
really
no, no,
cause
no.
damage.
Statistically, this is not even an argument, Mir. Statistically, we can already come down to a conclusion that men are more violent than women.
But yeah, but you can't. What I'm saying is the statistics aren't accurate because there's so many undocumented cases
There's
where women
statistics
hit men, but the men just don't go to the police. They don't go to the cops.
because
They
it
don't
doesn't
say
hurt.
anything because it doesn't. Because bro, like men don't care. Like bro, if a girl hits me, I don't care. Like I'm not gonna go and cry about it to the police. Yeah, and one of the big reasons for that is because it doesn't hurt.
Okay,
It's
when you're
true.
at the
It's
same
true
time,
though.
at the
It's
same
true.
time,
It's true.
you could also make the case for women as well. I would assume I would guess that there are many women around the world who get hit by men, but they don't report either.
That is very true.
That is true. That is
It,
true. But it's more
no, no,
common.
actually, I feel like the statistic would be like there's more women that don't report.
Mm.
How could you even make a
Is
statistic
that
about that?
then there are no, 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 no. I bet there is a statistic something like there's more women who don't actually report than there are like
But how could
men
you
who
even
actually
make
get
a
abused by
statistic
women.
about that, like
Because how
unreported
many
cases?
women on a scale, how many women get abused by how many men get abused by women versus how many men get abused by women
No, look, I'll
on
use it.
scale?
Look, I don't know the statistics exactly,
Okay,
but
but no, can
Just
we could talk
83%.
just
we
look at
could
the
we could
Amber Heard. Look at the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp case. Amber Heard went out. She said Johnny Depp was abusing me. Johnny Depp didn't go to the court and say Amber Heard was abusing me. She went out and made the court case on him. And what the court actually found out was that Johnny Depp was the one who was getting abused, and he got the report completely switched. And this is what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say that women are more likely to report it nowadays. Maybe in the past, yeah, there was a lot more abuse and a lot more undocumented abuse reported. But I would say
Mhm.
that
Okay, okay.
and
Is
and
that a
look
bad
look
thing
wait.
that
I would
women are more
argue
likely to
I would argue that you know what I would even you know what I agree to a degree that men, yes, sure, men might be more violent, but I would say it's like a bell curve, right? And on the far
Okay.
left, on the far left of the bell curve, yeah, there's more violent men, I would say, but there's also very non-violent men. I would say there's a lot of men who know how to control their emotions, who know how to
Yes.
make the right
Yes.
decisions, and yeah, but I would say
Okay,
on
but Mia,
average, okay, what?
you said that like in today's society that women would report like domestic abuse, right?
They're more likely.
Mm,
Yes. Okay.
that's a
So
good
now
thing.
think about the but now think about the third world countries as well, though.
I
Those
mean, third
countries,
world
I still don't
countries.
think that exists.
Yeah, but I mean, you
Like
could go
like
third world countries. I mean, we're not really, there's so many horrendous things that are
But
going
like
on there.
I could see a
Just so
correlation
many
with how
stories.
I could see how like a correlation with like the patriarchy. Like I would say in third world countries, like the patriarchy is more existent there.
exactly.
Of
And
course.
I feel like women being more comfortable to report domestic abuse is down to like them breaking down the patriarchy, them
Yeah.
almost getting closer to being on a level ground with men,
Look, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm
which
not
I think
saying
is
they shouldn't.
ideal.
I should. I'm not saying they shouldn't. Report domestic abuse.
Yeah,
What I'm saying is, I think that there's a lot of undocumented cases where men, are also, it's something that would be considered abuse, that maybe they don't consider it abuse. You know, the abuse is.
but okay, I would argue that like if we were on a level ground, 50-50, men would also be able to argue those cases, but they can't just because we're in a position where men. And okay, you said that like, oh, it doesn't hurt. I think that's just like, okay, we're not children anymore. I think that's just a stupid
It's
argument.
not. It's not at all. It's
Because
true.
okay, it's true. Okay, no,
It's
it's true.
facts.
A punch from a woman is and versus a punch, let's say from you, it's most likely gonna hurt from me more, right? Just because you're a man, that's how it is.
Yeah,
What about
It's just
injuries?
it's human nature. It's human nature
it is. It's
because it
God
literally
given.
is. It's God given. So I don't think I don't think we can argue with human nature. But you saying that like they don't report it because it doesn't hurt. I feel like
No, because
also
because
hurt is
men wouldn't
there's
consider that.
physical harm and emotional harm.
Look, the thing is, right. What you have to understand is, yeah, I understand there's emotional harm and all these different things, but I mean, okay, look, let me ask VMP this, right? You there, VMP?
There, what? I
Okay,
was
look,
listening.
yeah, okay, but
I didn't know what to talk.
no, no, no. Like, let me ask you, right? I mean, if a woman slaps you, like, lightly on the face like this, right? Are you gonna abuse? Are you gonna go to the police and say, "Oh, I've been abused"? Probably not, right? Whereas if it was done the other way around, who's more likely to
Hmm?
who's more likely to go to the police in
Okay,
that
good. Then.
situation for that light slap
Like, but
and report the case?
it's not gonna.
It would probably be the woman. Like, let's just be honest here. And yeah, maybe one of the reasons
Oh,
is
is
it doesn't hurt,
this one?
but the other reason is men
Oh,
just don't consider it
oh,
sexual
okay.
assault. Men, it doesn't go to the back of the head. Oh, I've been abused. They don't look at it that way.
That's because of the norms, bro.
So you know why though? It's I think it's to do with like, the threat level, right? Let's say a woman slaps you or attacks you, right? As a man, right? Like we're just naturally born stronger, right? You on average. I
Human
think that's a
nature.
fair assumption,
Yeah,
right? By human nature, right? So it's not as threatening because we can defend ourselves. So if a man hits a woman, most likely that man's going to be stronger and they won't be able to defend themselves, right?
Yeah.
And in that case, that's why women, I guess, reported more. Yeah, sure, there's
The
probably
same way.
undocumented as
Yeah.
well, but it's because it's not as threatening, you know?
But that's why women are scared to walk at night versus like I don't mind walking at night.
Yeah, same, me too. Like exactly. Like if a woman attacks you, Mir, like you can probably like overpower, right?
Wait, can I just address that one point there? I think that
You're muted,
who's muted?
but we can't hear you. Bro.
Oh,
Bro, if you make this joke again, I'm gonna kick you off the call.
Hello,
no, wallahi, we can hear you for a second.
Oh, okay.
hello.
We can hear you. We can hear you now.
No,
We can
can
hear
I
you
just I was
now.
just gonna say, I was just gonna address that point. You said women are more scared to walk around at night. Walk around at night. I would argue that
Don't say what are they wearing, and don't be in
no,
those
no, no, no,
places.
no. It's not
Don't
about
don't
that.
say that.
I mean, look, bro, that's just ridiculous. But what I was gonna say is, if you if look if let me give you an analogy here, right?
Let me
Okay, I'll
hear
give
this
you a
analogy.
little analogy, all right?
Yeah, I want to hear this.
You're in the
Me too.
house, yeah, you're in your house. This is a good
Uh
analogy. I've
huh.
heard someone use it before. You're in the house and you're scared of ghosts. You've probably heard this before, right? I mean, so
Hmm.
you're in a house alone and a tree hits your window. If you believe in ghosts, you're like, oh, that was a ghost. If you don't believe in ghosts, then you're just like, oh, it was a tree, right? It was a branch or something, right? I
That's
think
fair.
women are more scared that, they're more scared to walk on the streets at night because they believe men are dangerous, not because men actually are. Because I actually know the
No,
statistics. Wait,
no,
wait,
But
can I finish
no,
speaking?
no,
Can I
no.
finish speaking? Can I finish speaking? Because when you actually look at the statistics, it's actually more dangerous for men to walk around at night because there's more violent crimes committed on men than they are on women. That's the actual statistics. But yeah.
Could someone please fact check this?
you need a fact checker because, bro, some of the things you be saying just,
I
Yeah,
don't know about that one, bro. Like that one
this is
seems
crazy.
very.
That's outrageous.
bro. That could be one of those statistics that, like, statistics. You got to put them in context, right? Before you
Uh,
analyze, or like when you're analyzing them. So you could find that, bro, but like you gotta find it. Is it relative?
Yeah.
You know,
I told this
or like,
guy. I
or
told
where are these crimes happening? Like, or what type of crimes are these?
um,
There's so much more I need to like. I can't be right. Because, bro, the idea that women, I feel like the idea that women are scared to walk at night, I think is self-explanatory, and it's
yeah.
messed up, and it's something we've got to fix.
We do
okay,
But
have
like,
to
well,
fix, but
well, okay. I looked at this. It
we,
doesn't.
we,
Like I searched something up quickly. I mean, well, I'll have to like look at the whole document. I don't have it right here.
mm.
But
Brother,
it does. Wait, can I
this is on
finish?
Reddit, bro.
No, it's not on Reddit. It's an actual website. These are actually these are actual studies done. Um,
Go read it.
but no, it
and tell
basically
me
said that.
source.
Excuse me, Tazi. Can you let me let me speak? There needs to be
Okay,
one
my
here.
bad, my bad.
Um, but it does say that women are more likely to be, attacked based on, sexual violence or anything like that. But it says men are more likely. Let me read it exactly. Men are more likely to experience violent attacks like muggings or physical assaults, because obviously, I mean,
Or
nobody's
just
gonna
put his
sexually
brightness
assault.
up to think that he switched tabs.
No, no, I
Sorry.
did. When I switched tabs on
Um,
my thing
sorry, I
changed.
just had to say that. Sorry, you can read that again. Sorry.
So it says so women are more likely to be targeted for sexual assault, stalking, or harassment. Um, Men are more likely to be experience violent attacks such as muggings or random physical assaults by other men. This is just ChatGPT. Um, so yeah, because I mean, I'm not gonna read. I'm not gonna go onto like a whole source right now. Find like the thing, read it through. Just a quick point. But yeah, I mean,
I mean, bro, it'd have to be relative, you know. But like, I bet there's like, let's say the number one crime for like men that happens on men versus like, let's say like the number one crime on women, which is probably like assault, sexual assault or something.
hmm
I bet like there's more sexual assault cases in general
I
than there
agree. I
are on
agree.
women than there are
And
like,
look, I'm not
let's say
saying that.
it'd be hijacking.
Okay, but I'm not saying that it's right. But I mean, if we're looking at the threat of violence, who should be more scared in that situation then? Because I mean, a violent crime, you know, they said violent crimes are more likely to attack on men, to happen to men. Violent crimes are way worse. Let's be honest. I mean, getting beat up,
But,
getting murdered,
but then
getting robbed. That's arguably much worse. Getting kidnapped.
Who is committing these males, right?
the
Men,
thing,
right?
yeah,
It is
Yeah,
males, yes.
mostly,
Yeah.
yeah.
So again, going back to your point, males are more violent than
male on
you're
male.
saying they weren't.
Yeah.
Males are more
And
violent than,
No,
right?
I was
and
saying
also,
that it's
bro,
a
if you go
scale.
if
I said it's a bell
okay,
curve.
yeah, no, but like also Mir, if you go into this is again where the patriarchy is failing, the world is not working. As a man, if you're going out like you're scared, like you're gonna get attacked, okay, it's gonna be a 50-50. You're fighting a man versus a man. You could win, you could lose. As a woman, like you're probably gonna lose.
You will lose.
You are probably going to lose, but I mean, I don't know the exact statistics,
That's where
but
the patriarchy is failing. Women are not safe. We live in a world with women. We're men and women. As a man, it's easy to say, okay, it's working for me just fine. We got to take into consideration our sisters.
I'm not saying we
and
don't. I'm not saying we don't.
Oh, but
But
I'm just saying you're not with your arguments, and
it's
that's
not that
just
I'm
me.
not. I'm saying that, the facts are really they're really diluted. Not a lot of people actually know the facts. They just, speak propaganda that they've heard online or on TikTok. They don't actually know what's actually happening. And when you actually look at the facts, I mean, if we look at it realistically, though, women have higher rates of education than men. They have they actually get, I think they get paid more on average than men do. Like in terms, yet
Wait,
they earn
what?
more. I think they're higher earners. No, sorry, no, they have higher degrees, but they're not higher earners, which I don't know is a different thing. But they are higher earners. They're more likely to get a job. Um, I mean, how is that? How are we still living in a matriarchy when they have more rights? They benefit in the divorce court. Men don't benefit from the divorce court at all. What is the divorce court? The divorce court is literally there
You've
to
been saying
discipline.
this, dude. You've been giving the same exact
Unquote.
examples, and those are like three of like a bajillion other things that exist in our world, bro.
So what I'm asking, what is a bajillion thing? You gave a statistic that, oh, men are more likely to defend themselves, but I don't know the statistics. What if it's like a gang? What if it's a gang attack? What if it's like five guys attacking one guy? You know what I mean? We don't know the exact statistics. If it's like one guy attacking one woman, if it's three guys attacking one guy, or if it's one guy attacking one guy. So
can I can I can I go? Because I actually have a I actually have a good example. There's actually, it was not true, actually very recent from now. There was actually, I don't know if you guys know that there was actually like a streamer, right? Three streamers who low key got basically nearly basically like
Switch, turn your camera on.
Yeah, please, man.
Yeah, continue.
what? And I was just gonna say, I don't know if you guys know, but like Sin, I don't know if you guys watch Sin or like those guys, but basically there was a male stalker who basically followed them and was basically saying that he wanted to basically kill one of the girls, and it was three girls. It was actually four. It was actually four, and the cameraman. And like this is just evidence to like further even back up that case that like again like it's like especially in the patriarchal world, there's not really a good environment for like specific females to feel at least comfortable that they're not gonna at least face what like they're safe enough in the environments that are currently right and going on. Because imagine you're streaming, people are watching this, okay? You're in broad daylight with a lot of public people too. There's three girls and there's one guy, and they still able to like have a weird stalker chasing them. You know what I mean? So I mean, and it's just one guy. In that case, you're outnumbered and all that stuff. The fact that
Yeah.
somebody's still doing that, I mean,
No,
it's
no,
just
no.
crazy.
And those guys are losers, and that definitely needs to change. But I mean, okay. Let me just ask you. So, is feminism pushing for a matriarchal society, or is it pushing for an equal society?
Um, to be honest, I think they're pushing for probably. Actually, I don't know. I actually don't have enough information to actually say to make a good
So you don't
statement
know
on
what
that.
so you don't know what you're talking about. So be quiet. What about you two?
Wait, what was the question?
I said, is feminism pushing for a matriarchal society, or is it pushing for a equal society?
I think it's equal.
Equal,
Okay.
yeah, I would say equal.
So if it's equal, then why are they favored in divorce courts? Why are they favored in affirmative
Yeah,
action? Why are they favored
but
when it comes to,
I feel like breakdown.
the courts
We were at a
overall?
point where the patriarchy was at 100%,
Okay, but then you disagree with that
and
stuff, right? You disagree that a woman shouldn't be, it should be equal. When you're applying to a
mhm.
job, even if it's more male dominated, if a male is more qualified than a woman, they should hire the woman. I mean, they should hire the man. And
Yes.
no, I disagree.
okay, so you want a matriarchal society then?
No, not a metro. I want an equal society, but like,
Yeah.
but then I thought, but to have an equal society first, though, we need to break some aspects of the
Yeah.
patriarchal society that already exists. For example, like if we have
And
like
for
in a
you, it
company,
looks. I
How?
feel like it looks at like
Okay.
women are getting better jobs than men. It
I'm
looks
not.
that way. I feel like it's actually even.
I'm not
Yeah.
saying they're getting better jobs. I'm saying that when they apply to, let's say I'm a guy, I have 10 years of experience,
Oh, okay, okay.
right? She has 5 years of experience. We apply to the same job. Just because she's a woman, she's more likely to get hired than me.
Are there statistics on
This
that
is,
Yeah.
bro,
happening?
that's affirmative action. It's the same with race.
Okay.
It's the same with race too. It's the same thing. That's
Yes, it
affirmative
is.
action.
Yes, it is. No, he's right. No, Mir is right. I agree with you. Like, and
Oh
I do
yeah,
think
no, that is true.
and I do think it's unfair to a certain extent. But the thing is, like, at the end of the day, we are the ones paying, like we are the ones being sacrificed, so we can have like an equal society. That's just how it is. It's unfair, but like
Not
it's also
though. It's not though.
Your camera
it's
on if you
not.
want to speak, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah,
turn your
please,
camera
bro.
on.
I was in the
Yeah.
bathroom.
Thank
So
you,
It's
thank
not
you, thank you,
though.
Even
thank
in the
you.
bathroom, keep
Look,
going.
It's not though.
look.
Think about it. You know,
One
like
more
in a
time and you're
company,
kicked off.
Yeah.
or anything, right?
Uh-huh.
How many percent do you think a diversity hires? So people who are women, people of
Not
color,
much.
less
Not
than
much.
what?
Not much.
Less than
I don't think it's
10%,
much.
right?
I don't think it's
Right?
much. Yeah.
So these people are competing for 10% of spots, right? While let's
Yes.
say man, right? We're competing for the
Yes.
other 90%. So what's easier to get into? 10% or 90? Obviously
I think
90.
that's such a
So how does that even
that's a
make any
stupid
sense?
point. That's a stupid point.
That's not a
That's just
stupid
wrong.
point.
I think yeah, it makes sense, bro.
This doesn't make sense at all, bro. It doesn't make sense at all.
Because I feel like
Here,
the
10%
works
are diversity hires, so there's so many people competing for that 10%. How
It's
many
not.
women
It's
are going
not.
to compete for
That's not
that
how affirmative action works.
10%?
Affirmative action works.
Yeah.
That's
No.
not how it
No.
works.
It's like
It is
that's
though.
not.
That's why
That's
it's
No,
called a
it's
no.
not.
It's like
diversity hire.
No,
Because
no. It's not
no.
most
That's
of the
not how it
diversity
works.
company
high.
is a certain demographic or whatever.
No, it's not. That's not how it
That's
works.
what what do you think a diversity
maybe
hire
maybe
It's
means?
not
for the viewers
diversity
explain
high.
what affirmative action is. Like, explain what affirmative action
Oh
is.
yeah,
So
explain
basically,
what affirmative
I'll give
action is.
you. Basically, it's basically trying to
Even
make the
in a
workforce.
college sense.
Should I just search up the exact definition so we can?
Yeah, sure.
No,
That
no,
might be a good idea.
explain, no, no, explain how you understand it.
Let me just get the exact one. Affirmative action.
'Cause maybe how you understand it is not the same way as the exact one, you know?
Um, so basically, affirmative actions refers to a set of policies and practices within the government organization to address systematic um, discrimination. And actually, Trump's removing affirmative action. He's getting rid of it. But basically, what it does, it's not looking. It says it's not. They're not fighting for 10%. That's what you fail to understand, right? They're fighting. It's based on application. Do you understand what I'm saying? So companies now, once affirmative action was put into place, right, are more likely to hire someone who's, let's say, let's say a different disposition. So let's say, an immigrant or someone who's non-white, typically, like, and who's, let's say, a woman, right? They're more likely to hire these people. And why are they more likely to hire them? Because they want to be more diverse, right? And if they had a company that was, 50% diverse, that would actually benefit them more. That would benefit their marketability. And it's not that they're fighting for 10%. They're fighting for every single position. Do you understand what I'm saying? They're fighting for every single position. It's not 10%. Every single
Yes, I
position.
understand. Bro.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, I know
Every
what you're
Still
time.
trying to say.
competition though.
Yes,
That's what I'm
yes,
saying.
no, no.
But
Like,
that's
So what
not
do you mean by
equal.
and
That's
every?
not equal, though.
it's a thing. It's a thing. It's a thing. Um, I understand what both of you are saying. Both of you are right. What said you're saying? A company has a target, right? Like for diversity, like the target is to have like 10% diversity within their company.
Yeah, sure,
Uh,
but people who are of a diverse nature, I mean, they take up a small percentage of the population too, right? I mean, people who are of like a different disposition, who are like, I mean, you look at the West, right? I mean, most of the population is white, right? That's the majority of the population. So people who are,
I'm not white.
yeah, I said most of the people. It's, most of the people are white. So the people of a different disposition, they're only gonna take up 10% of the company because they only take up 10% of the population. Do you understand what I'm saying? And also, yeah,
That's not true though. That's the thing. That's not true though.
how is that not true?
Let's say the diverse population, or they're only hiring 10%, right?
Hmm.
They're gonna be more than 10% of the population, like the diverse group you're talking about. So they're still competing for that 10%, like everyone else. Like you said, women and people of color, right? They're still competing for that.
Yeah, but I would say, I mean, what is your point? That doesn't really debunk my point.
You're saying, let's say they hire 10% in a company, right, of diverse hires, right?
I mean, but that's not the goal. Yeah, they might have that
And that's
goal.
only because the population is 10%, but that's just not true.
That's
It's
not
way
what I'm
more.
saying.
It's
That's not what I'm
probably gonna
saying.
be.
That's not what I'm saying at all. You misunderstood me. What I'm saying is the diverse population in a country, because it's already majority native, is only going they only take up like 10 or 20% of the population. Do you understand what I'm saying? So when they do get hired, they're only going to take up about 10% of the company. There's not enough of them to be applying to the job there's not enough of them to be applying for that job that in which they would take up 50%, unless there's a large group of them, getting a degree for that specified job.
But that makes sense, right? Or if it's, I don't know, people of color or something. But what about women then?
Yeah, women, sure.
Because they take up half the population,
Yeah, okay, but when it comes to jobs, women actually have equal
right?
opportunity. This is what I'm saying. There was actually a study done with
They
Google.
haven't though.
There was actually a study done with Google, and Google did a hiring process, and they did men and women, on the same, same qualifications, everything, you get hired. Google did this. It was for Google, the company, and more women were actually hired than men. So you have to really make the argument: because of is it
If
because of
Google did
women
do this
innately?
study on their own company,
No, it was women and men applying to work for Google, and they did a study of women applicants and men applicants and who would get hired basically, and women actually got outperformed the men. They got hired more, and women also have more degrees than men. They have higher qualifications than men. So why are they why are they well less rich, you could argue, or even why are they taking up less space in the workspace? No, the argument is they're not taking up less space in the workspace. They actually take up a lot of space. It just depends on what career you look to. As I said before, women usually do social careers. They don't typically do STEM subjects. They do, subjects like nursing or, sociology, psychology, gender studies, things like this. So you won't see them in, major workspaces like engineering or, degrees like this. You'll only see them in yeah, but if you actually look at it like band for band, you look at it for in the industries where they hire, if you look at the industries they apply to, in which they graduated, they have the degree to support them. They arguably, I mean, you could prove me wrong, but they take up most of the jobs. They take up the higher percentage. And yeah, there's more male nurses nowadays, but it's still a woman dominated field, is what I'm saying.
Nah, bro. I think it goes back. I think we've already talked about this again.
Mm.
Like it's the norms that we've set in society that we're breaking down now. That like it was back in the day,
Yeah,
there was a
that's
man's
fine.
job and a woman's job, and we're breaking that down, and that comes down to breaking down the patriarchy.
Yeah, but we're arguing equality here, right? And
Yeah, and that'll come down to breaking down the patriarchy where we're on a level ground.
yeah, sure, but I mean, in terms of laws, I mean, in terms of the laws that are in place, the Constitution, could you really make the argument that we're still in a patriarchy? And if you could, then I don't understand how you could make that. I mean, what is
Okay,
your
so
argument?
wait, what laws are you saying?
All of them, and all of them.
What
How do
laws
how do
are prompt?
what
What laws
rights?
prompt that we're not?
Okay, what rights do men have that women don't have?
I don't know, but I don't know off the top of my head.
Hmm.
But at the end of the day,
There are none.
we
I'm,
we men are the ones making the laws at the end of the day,
but women vote for that. Women have equal rights to vote.
for the most part. Like, I mean, some laws women don't vote though.
I mean, they vote for the presidential candidate, right?
Okay, but like that's not a law. I don't. I would. Okay, I get what you're saying. That like, yeah, they get to vote. Yeah, bro. Like voting is a different thing. But when it comes down to simple things, we're men and women are just not equal. And I think can we all agree on that?
Yes, yes. Look, bro. At the end of the day, at the end of the day, there's no laws that
Men.
benefit
And if you're
women.
arguing, if you argue that we're in a matriarchy, then you're gonna say that women are at a more advantaged place.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're not equal. So we can agree on that, no?
I agree on that. We're not equal. I agree on that.
Right. And I'm arguing that men just because of like the your point of that, like I already said that, like about like the nurses, it's a norm thing, and that norm is shifting. In 10 years there'll be more finance women,
Sure. But I mean, to make the argument that women aren't getting hired, I mean,
and there ever will be.
no, but to make the argument that women aren't getting hired is ridiculous because they are. They just choose to work in fields like, sociology, social sociology, and fields like nursing.
They
And when
choose
you
to work
actually,
there.
yeah, I mean, they get that's what they get their degrees in, right? That's what you can bro, you have a lot of friends that are women, right?
Yeah.
A lot of them pick fields like art. A lot of them pick fields like, they don't pick STEM subjects. They don't pick engineering. They don't pick chemistry. They don't pick, most of them in general, right? They usually pick social jobs. Psychology is a massive one. Even in my school, a lot of them pick that. Biology, not biology, but yeah, psychology or sociology, um, nursing degrees like this. If you actually look at those jobs, they're women dominated. Daycare, women dominated. So you can't really make the argument that, women aren't getting hired. That's ridiculous.
This is an argument I think could just go on for days and days. I feel like we should switch it
We can switch it.
because we're not getting anywhere. Because I feel like we're all set on our grounds, and no one's moving anywhere. Because my stance has not moved a single place, and I don't think yours has. I don't think
I don't think
anyone's
mine has
has.
either.
I don't think
be
anyone's
honest.
has either.
Be honest, it's really just me being an unmovable force, and it's really because of this.
Yeah, and I
I'm
totally agree with
I'm
that.
sorry,
And
but
I totally.
You don't have the facts, man. You don't have the facts.
And I think you're up with the patriarchy at the end of the day.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Yeah, and I think that's wrong.
Okay, Taylor Swift. Give me a break.
what's the next question? What's the next segment?
I mean, we can talk about. I mean, if you want to talk about this, what are some conspiracy theories? I mean, you guys know any conspiracy theories you wanna discuss, or the biggest conspiracy theories? And do they have any
Hitler
weight to
didn't
them?
kill himself.
Hitler didn't kill himself.
Loki, Princess Diana, bro. You
Princess
know about that
Diana.
one?
I know a bit. Apparently, but
Heard
apparently
about that one.
they killed her.
Paparazzi
King
followed her
Charles.
into the panel.
Yeah, but
Right,
King
that one.
Charles. It was actually King Charles.
Yeah, apparently, and
Yeah,
there was
because she
like
was
an AI
disgracing the
video,
royal family. No?
something like that, right?
Yeah, I
Amelia
don't know.
Earhart.
I mean, you'd have to know that one.
Yeah,
What
I
about
didn't do
Amelia
much.
Earhart?
Amelia Earhart, Jonathan, bro, that's a please. That's a more of like a mystery, not really a
Or
conspiracy.
Hitler.
I
Hitler
said
didn't kill
place.
himself. He actually
I
fled
said
to
place.
Argentina.
He fled to Argentina. Bro, I remember you telling us this in like year 10 or something, year 9.
Yeah,
You watched
it's
some
true,
I heard
Netflix
bro.
that.
show.
I
You
heard
know
that
how many
theory.
how many bases they had.
Oh shit.
What?
Wait, can I say his name?
Yeah, that it doesn't matter, man. Should be fine.
Okay. Hitler. You know how many bases the Nazis had in Argentina?
How many?
24/7.
They still have them till this day. Hitler just went there, bro.
Do you think he's
He
alive
went
right
there.
now? He's watching our stream.
Nah, he's probably dead now, but I don't think he killed
Why would he be
himself.
alive right now?
He's dead,
To watch
bro.
your stream.
It's been 80
To watch
years,
your
man.
The
prestigious
thing is,
stream.
right, with the
He wants to watch your stream, yeah.
Yeah, to be
the
fair.
U.S. apparently found his dead body there, right?
I also found it.
Right. The issue I have with that theory is, why would they cover up for him? For what reason?
Peace, bro.
Hmm?
Peace.
What do you mean peace? They could have killed him because he was apparently dead, right?
I mean,
So why would they cover up for his, like, oh yeah, he's actually dead, guys?
Probably
Then
offered
they
them a
just kill
sweet
him?
deal or something, bro.
ask them.
What do you mean offer them a sweet deal? It makes 0 sense. Because at that point, he already lost the war.
I
There's
mean,
no reason
everything
to
Hitler
keep him
did made
alive.
no sense, bro.
Yeah.
Huh?
Everything Hitler did made no sense.
I mean, I'm joking.
I,
I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm
I,
joking. I'm joking. I'm joking. No, but I mean, you know, what, let's segue. I mean, I have this question. Do you think with the way, you know, society's going, with the way society's, you know, pushing the direction it's going in, do you think religion is fading, or do you think it's coming back? Do you think religion is making a comeback?
Fading. It's fading.
It's fading.
It's 100% fading. Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
I agree.
Yeah. And why? Why do you think it's fading?
I think people use religion too much as a convenience. You know, they claim religion when it's convenient for them.
Mm. Like, it's like if you go back like 30 years ago, like you would see the crazy difference in how religious people actually were.
Yeah.
Like a comparison to how it is now. You know.
Mm,
So
that's fair.
100%.
But do you think that's good for society? Do you think it's bad for society?
No, I think it's bad me personally because I'm a religious person. But like I could also be an example, right? Because I think back in the day I was really really religious, you know. Like I used to go to church and a lot and everything.
Mm,
But now it's like the more I'm growing, like I'm getting distant away from God. And I'm not saying it's a good thing. I think it's a really bad thing. But I think the world as a whole is fading away from religion. Yeah, I mean, because you see like Satanist cults. You see, you know, what I mean, people saying like people supporting Satan and everything. You know, like there's like a shit ton of them nowadays. Like, but like there are generally like a few in my school as well, right? Like they have their own Satanist cult and club. So
yeah.
The thing was, things like these come with freedom of speech. You know, if you take these things away, you're kind of taking freedom of speech away as well.
no,
Do
I
you
agree.
But
really
what was
do
the
that?
question? Sorry, if you may repeat it.
It's like,
It was with the way society is evolving, do you think religion is fading or is it making its comeback? And if it is fading, then why is it fading? And do you think that's better for society or worse?
Mm, I don't think it should fade. I think everyone should be entitled to believing in what they want to believe. But I do think it's fading away in my life personally. But I don't know on a global scale. I don't know.
Do you think religion, like we'll move on from this after, but do you think religion is directly tied to the patriarchy?
Mm,
Because I mean,
yeah,
because if you are
not
religious, then
directly, but like, but yeah, there. I think there are some elements that like contribute to the patriarchy.
Mm.
I would even argue that, I mean, if you're religious, you would be more in line with a patriarchal society than a matriarchal society.
I don't think I'm in line with I don't think I'm in line with a patriarchal or a matriarchal. I think I'm in line with a mix of both, like an even mix of both.
In equal society. That's fair. That's fair. But yeah, I mean, I think it's fading. I think that it is fading. I think it is making comebacks here and there, you know, arguably. But I think overall, yeah, it's fading. I think that I don't know if that's great for society. I think an atheist society can't really. It doesn't work. I can't you can't really give me
I don't think it would work. I
because
don't
it's
think it would work
subjective.
because
Everything's subjective.
I feel like
why not?
religion becomes like a law for a lot of people, you know, a moral
Yeah,
law
exactly. A
that makes
moral
them
law.
do good.
Moral
Yeah, but
guideline.
Like a
if
lot
you
of
have to do good cause of religion, you're just a bad person, bro.
oh, I feel like
No,
no, you're not.
No, but I
No, I
yes,
mean,
you
don't
are,
think it's
though.
because you've
no,
Stop
devoted your
donating
life.
money
no, no,
only
You've
no.
because I can get into
you've
heaven.
devoted your
Bro, you're
life to
horrible.
God.
Like, what?
No, you've devoted your life to God.
And wait, are you
No,
a
That's
I'm
what you've
bad
saying
done.
if
person?
you only do good.
No,
What?
wait. Are you a bad person because of the things you think about or because of the things you do? It's what you do that defines you. It's not what you think. A lot of people, you
I
know,
agree.
let's say in a very bad situation, you're about to get into a fight, or you know, someone's insulted you or your parents or whatever. Someone like, we know who, Chris, CK, some like RF, I'm just leaking him, I don't care.
Mm,
He would like
mm.
hit you, bro. He would be like hit you, right?
Yeah,
But okay, let's say someone insulted my parents, maybe I would be like, oh, I should slap him. I thought about it, but it's not the right thing to do. It's not the good thing to do.
not the right thing.
But that doesn't mean I'm a bad person for thinking that. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's what you do that matters. It's not what you think. It's about how you act, right? I think that yeah, there's really no moral law with atheism. You can't. It's subjective. It's subjective to whoever's in power or whoever's perspective.
Yeah,
You know, on someone's perspective.
I think
You can't
religion
really
brings
say,
order
yeah, you can't really say something's right and something's wrong. And really, how can
because
you say something's right and
atheism
something
is
wrong? Doesn't make sense.
atheism
Can't
is like an
though. Just
anarchy.
like
No, dude, atheism is an anarchy because like for you, it's constructed of what you make the world. As in religion, like at least brings some sort of order, where like we believe in a common goal or we believe in something to bring good to the world. As in your good and my, let's say if I was atheist, my good and your good could be very different.
I'm just gonna again quickly go to the bathroom, but I have a very, very good point. When I'm back.
okay, you come back. We'll talk about this for a bit.
You know what I'm saying, Saj?
Oh my days, I'm a retard.
In a way, no, understand in a way, but like if you're only doing good cause you're scared of eternal hell, then you're just a terrible person. Is
I
what
don't
I'm
think
trying to a
I
point
don't
I'm
think
trying to
it's
make.
the idea of being scared of hell. I think it's you're looking at it wrong. I think for a lot of people, believing in God is devoting your life to Him,
Hmm.
not because you're scared of hell, scared of like afterlife or hell.
Hmm.
Like yes, you want to
And
go to
like
heaven to be reunited with God.
yeah, but with religion as well, right? The same with atheism. There's so much interpretations, though. No, the Bible
I know,
itself is an
and
interpretation,
there are, and that's the
right?
thing. But it provides order. Where like there are so many interpretations, but at the end of the day, like and then it goes to say that like there's also very destructive religions,
Hmm.
very like terrorism in
And
general,
there's
like
things
bring
like religious wars, right?
yeah,
People
yeah, like
judge you
religion can be a
based off
very
religion as well. Don't you
yeah,
think? In a
religion
way,
can be a
society
very
will still
dangerous
work,
way to harness harmful ideas.
right? So don't you think? I still think atheist societies will still work. Like for example, right? Japan is actually, I'm pretty sure, an atheist society. Most people are atheist and religious.
I don't know if it would work on a global scale.
Pakis, like Japan, right?
What?
Hello.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, I was just saying, like Japan, for example, is a atheist country. There's more atheists than religious people, and it still works. I think society can run, even though
I'll give you
it's atheist.
I have a good rebut to that. This is why I'm like immigration moratorium. You know what I mean? Immigration moratorium. Um, and this is why I'll give you a very good point here. I think that the world is sectarian. I think that race matters. Race is real. I think that wait, are you guys here? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can hear you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. So I
Listen.
think race is real. Race matters. I think the reason why Japan, I'll go, I'll touch on that later. But my whole argument is for a multicultural society. When there's racial division, I mean, when there's different races here and there, and there's a failure to assimilate, people digress or go back to their original races. The black people will sit with the black people, white people will sit with the white people, etc. Right? And I think one way to basically disrupt that flow or just, yeah, basically change that would be religion. Religion brings people together. It brings people of different dispositions together. It brings, and it allows for a society to be more coherent. When you look at a society like Japan, yeah, sure, it's an atheist society, but there's one thing that keeps society running. Everyone is the same. They had the same upbringing. They grew up the same way. They um, they all look the same. They have the same ideologies because of the way they grew
Yeah,
up.
yo.
And but when you have people of completely different lifestyles, coming together, at a large rates like it is, especially in the West because they have the highest immigration rates. the only way to really, to have a coherent society without, division is with at least one value that everyone believes in, or one divinity that people believe in. And I would say religion is something that could do that. It's something that could bring nations together. I think that's my argument.
Um, I know I agree with what you're saying, but I feel like at the same time it could also be used to like split people apart. Like think of like for instance within religions like in Islam, I think it's Iraq and some other country where they're fighting the Sunnis versus the Shia
Yeah, it's sectarian. I
within
agree.
Islam.
Of course, and you have like Catholicism, you have
Yeah,
Protestants, you
and
have
then you
Orthodox.
yeah, and
But I
then when you
mean,
go
so
into like
specific
now
sect.
Islam versus Christianity, where you get like Islamic fundamentalism, and when you get like like terrorist attacks, where terrorist attacks are basically just a way to harness ideologies.
Yeah.
And when people are trying to use that to harness to say that, oh, my religion is better than yours, you believe this, don't believe that, that becomes a problem.
No, and I agree, but I think that that's a problem today, though. I mean, you look at the West, and you
Yeah.
have these different religions coming together. I think it's evident it can really work. They can live in harmony, and it's not working right now. I mean, that's why there's massive calls for immigration all around the world. For the first time in history, immigration was literally the number one thing in politics. Everyone's talking about immigration, and all over the West. And the reason for it is because things are not working. Society is not getting better. When you're importing large amounts of immigrants into a nation, of completely different values. For example, I'll give you a good example. Immigrating or importing, you know, let let's say, to the West, or a Christian nation, and another Christian they would assimilate better into society in comparison to, importing someone from the Middle East who's of a different religion, right? And yeah, that's really my point. I think that, the world is sectarian. I agree, but I think it should be one sect. I think that a country should be one sect. I think that it shouldn't be a mix of Protestants, Catholics, and Orthodox. I think it should be one sect that's running the country. So,
You think we should have nation states, rather?
not even nation states. I just think that the country should be run under one sect of the religion.
It's a nation state now.
Is that a nation state?
Or like they kind of like run under or formed under one or formed under like a shared like either culture, language, history, or like would be like religion would be a shared religion
Yeah,
that makes them
yeah,
a nation.
sure. And I don't think the Constitution should be written under the religious laws, because there's a lot of things that could differ there. I don't think that's right. But I think that, if the people are alike, society will progress. And that's why Japan progresses. And that's why the West right now has so many problems. That's why everyone's so anti-immigration. That's why everyone's talking about this, because things are just not working. But I mean, I would like to hear what you guys have to say about that.
Fortnite.
Yes,
What?
I agree.
Sej, what are your thoughts? You said that because you're
Crazy.
the atheist here, right?
Hmm.
So what are your thoughts on that? On the point I just made.
I totally get your point, like 100%. Like it builds a community. Like that is your whole point. And with that, like 100% I agree. And it's hard to in an atheist like nation, right? Like let's say the West, you're saying there's lots of immigration.
Hmm.
So it is hard to like foster a community when everyone is from different places.
Yeah.
You're totally right. In
Yeah, a
that
lot of
sense,
resist
yeah,
that.
makes sense for religion. I don't see any other, I guess, solution.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's the solution, especially when you're importing, when it's mass immigration. If it was like a small percentage, like 5, 6% of the population, yes, society could work. But if you're importing, like what, 10 million in 4 years under Biden, it becomes a problem. Becomes a problem, and yeah, yeah, that's really my point. Um, Because Sej, I mean, you could even argue, whatever country you grow up in, let's say you're Muslim, you grow up with the same, you grow up going to the mosque, you grow up doing Jummah, you grow up, you grow up, doing Ramadan. You go to these other countries, you can assimilate fine. You can, you understand the culture. But if you're importing someone, who's Jewish, who's Indian, who's, Christian into that country, they'll find it way harder to assimilate. It arguably won't even work. So yeah, that's really my argument for it. That's why I think religion should be a fundamental in society. But yeah, I mean, if that's your guys' last thoughts, then we is that all? Is that all? Nothing you guys want to say? We could do last thoughts. We can end it there.
You're muted.
Oh shoot! I was saying I think next time we should have a proper debate.
We should. I mean, the thing is, right? I didn't know where like your stances were, right? But now I
I'm
know.
very liberal, bro. I'm a liberal.
Now I know. You're a
A
liberal.
liberal who loves capitalism.
I'm a, I'm
Loves
a,
capitalism.
I'm a, yeah, I'm like a different sect. I don't even think Trump is like.
You're a fascist.
I'm not a fascist. That's crazy.
I'll say that for the rest of my life, and you know that.
I'm not a fascist, bro.
Just because I disagree with you.
Bro, the patriarchy shit was ridiculous, man. You're
That's
just
all
wrong.
doing.
Nah, bro, you were just yapping, bro. You believe in a patriarchy, literally. Is the stream still going?
It's still going. It's still going. Yeah, we'll do last
Alright, but
thoughts. You wanna do last thoughts?
you believe in a patriarchy. You believe that men should be above women in society.
When it comes to certain things, sure. Yeah.
No, and on a global level.
Sure. I agree. I think so.
And why? And you think it's working?
Well, it's not that I think it's working. Well, no.
But that's
I said
basically what
right
you
now. I think we're living in a matriarchy. I don't think that's working.
you know
I'm
you
saying
you
it's
know
what's
you
worked.
literally said those words.
I said
You
it's
said
what's
because we're
worked.
here right now, it's working.
No, I said it's worked.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
He said that, right? He said it.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Yeah,
He said
it's
because we're
worked.
here
It's
and
the
now
same
it's
thing.
I
It's
asked
the
working.
them.
same.
I asked
Sure.
them.
It's
I
the same thing. It doesn't
I
matter.
asked them. I asked them, "Where's the proof that it's working?" And then you said, "We're here, aren't we?"
No, I'm saying that we've lived in a patriarchy for such a long period of time, and you said
So it's working.
so it has worked, right? I mean, we're here, we're alive, we have functional society, we live in the most developed nation, we live in the most developed times that we've ever lived. I said every it would be hard to believe that there was never a matriarchy in society at a specific time, which means every matriarchy that there ever was destroyed by the patriarchy because it didn't work or it just fell apart, right? And that's proof in and of itself of why the patriarchy has worked. We're now moving to a matriarchy, and look, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying blah blah blah, but I'm a reactionary. I think that
Blah blah
the
blah blah blah
patriarchy
blah.
has worked. The patriarchy has
I think
worked, and we're moving into some. We're experimenting, yes, but I don't think we don't know where the experiment's going to take us. Is what I'm saying.
I think your just whole reactionary point of view is very flawed. Because yes, it may work in some situations. I don't think you can generalize that to general life because again, the world is evolving and like you saying that the patriarchy is working because yeah, we're existing here and because a matriarchy hasn't worked. We've never tried where both are equal. Maybe that could work better. And I think it could.
Sure. I think it could. Maybe it could work better. But we don't know. That's the thing. We don't know.
I mean, I don't have evidence, but I'm pretty likely that it would.
Oh,
Yeah, fair enough. But yeah, maybe next time we'll have a better.
I mean, for next time we could argue is equality possible?
Yeah, definitely.
Is total equality possible in anything in life?
Yeah.
Nope.
I don't think it is. But
So I don't know.
yeah, we'll see. But yeah, we'll just do last thoughts. I'll end it there. Pretty good talk. I enjoyed it.
Fortnite.
We can play
I
right
thought
after
about
the
what,
show. Last thoughts about the show.
bro?
Last thoughts about
Fuck.
the show.
Why don't you stream Fortnite?
Yeah,
You
that's
want me
not
to
a bad
stream?
idea.
You want me to? Okay, I don't mind. I could stream Fortnite.
Love streaming Fortnite.
No, just create a new stream. No, just create a new stream and be like,
That way.
I can just change the title.
no. Yeah,
There's always
no.
Sidemen. This would be like more
It's
Sidemen, bro.
Nah, allow the FN stream, then we
no,
can
no, Serge,
talk
no,
more comfortably
no,
outside of
Serge,
stream.
Serge, no.
I'm pretty sure we're gonna get cancelled either way. I'm just being honest.
I'm just saying, like, playing with Johnny
Yeah.
and like Mir on
I'm not
touchpad
playing.
will
I
get me
can't
so
play.
mad, bro.
I can't play.
You can't play?
You can't play.
I can't play for the next week.
Bro, but think about it, bro. Speed has said the most and done the most outlandish stuff, but he still gets a Champions League interview. I'm just saying.
That's true. Nah,
I'm just
it's just how
saying.
much value you bring. Guys, we need to step up our level, guys. This year is our year, bro. It's
Mir needs
our
to clip
year, man.
farm. Mir needs to clip farm, but he doesn't want to listen to
No,
me.
it's not only that. You know why though? It
What?
depends on your character, right? Because people think Speed
Yeah.
is dumb. So when Speed says something stupid or like out of pocket, they're
Pause,
like,
pause.
"Oh, it's
Are we
just
still on
he's just
stream? Sorry,
stupid."
Sage. Are we still on stream? Because if you're
We're
saying
still
this,
on
like,
stream.
I'm okay. Just so that you know. Okay. Sorry. Continue.
I mean, you
Are
need
we
to
still
clip
on
farm.
stream?
Yeah. Why?
I
Okay.
mean, you need to clip farm. I mean, you need to clip farm. You need to stop barking and shouting and screaming.
No, I'm not doing that. That's embarrassing, bro. Embarrassing
He's
happened.
already clip farming because you know damn well like this guy's educated. He does not believe in a patriarchy.
No, yeah, he doesn't.
I know, I'm joking. I know he does.
Hey, man. I don't know how it's only me. You guys are ridiculous, bro. I thought all of us
The
were.
thing is, it's so diabolical that it's technically clip farming, but he's being him,
Yeah,
Ah,
that's
but you
true.
never
which is
know. He might
good.
be rage baiting us, you know. Just
Clip
really very
farming.
He's
No,
not.
That's
no,
He
no,
was
crazy.
literally rage.
I
No, he
was
was literally rage
I clipped
baiting.
farms in some
rage
areas.
baiting, I
I
promise.
knew we watched
He's
that.
rage baiting.
I'm not rage baiting
He's
at all.
rage baiting.
I'm not rage
No,
baiting.
no, you're literally rage baiting.
Bro,
That's rage
like
baiting, I
what was
promise
it?
you.
Like, but Mir went away. We all said women have a more difficult life. This thing that comes in, the first thing he says is that men
Yeah,
have it harder.
no. I was about to say
Oh,
like
is that
all the
why you guys were
arguments we've
laughing?
had.
Is that why you guys were laughing?
Yes.
That's funny. It's true. It's true. Nowadays, it's true, bro. You can't even argue
All
it.
the arguments we've had today have basically been everyone against Amir.
Yeah, this is like a
No,
4v1, bro. It's a 4v1.
The thing is,
Nah, Tazi doesn't count. Nah,
Tata
Tazi doesn't.
shouldn't
It's a
count, I'm
3v1.
sorry.
It's a
Tazi, okay,
3v1, but
Tazi
Tazi
Tata
doesn't
doesn't
does
count.
not
count.
count.
Yeah,
But
let's be fair.
Tata's literally selling for us, bro.
That Tazi was selling our points.
It's a 3v2, bro.
We were
Tata's
gaining
literally
momentum,
selling, bro.
bro. We were like
I was
cranking 90s, and Taz is that one teammate who's just like breaking down the builds
You're
at the
breaking
bottom,
your
bro.
builds down, bro.
That's so funny, bro.
Is that breaking your own builds? What the fuck are you doing?
He's like, guy just pickaxing the like walls on the bottom. He's like, yo, I'm breaking him down.
But I think bro, 3v1. I think I did okay. I think I did all right.
I think next time you should bring you gotta bring like you need a guest like I don't know if I should name drop her. I might as well fuck it. The Vita.
Davida, bro, I'll cook
oh
Davida.
no,
Cook her, man.
no.
She could come on,
Please,
bro.
please, that'll be
I don't know.
fire.
I don't know.
But
I
you
don't
never
know.
know.
I'm just
No,
Wait, hold
I'm
on. Are we
just
still
saying.
streaming?
that would look to be
I mean,
fire.
yes,
That would look to be
yes.
fire.
Are we still streaming? Then yes.
That
I'd
would
say
look to be
yes. You
fire.
should bring
That would look to be fire.
I mean,
But
Matt is 100%
Or
fire.
bring like a girl like
Grace.
The thing
Grace
is,
on.
like,
Yeah.
Grace is
Yeah.
like super liberal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd
Oh,
say so.
bro, that's great, man.
See, like Yami is kind of liberal, but like at the same time, she can also be kind of conservative.
I heard it.
Because she's trying to
I
be
brought
different.
Yami on. We had a.
Was it a good episode?
It was pretty good. Jonathan enjoyed it.
Tazi would have liked it too.
Tazi would have. You would have liked it too. All three of you.
You three would have liked
Bro,
it,
what the
bro. Why
fuck?
you
You
acting like
three
you
are all-
didn't like that
Look
shit,
at you
bro?
three,
Said,
bro.
shut up,
All
man.
three of you.
Said
Yeah.
you would have probably liked it. You got your black belt.
I mean,
Okay, bro. God damn it, man.
Hey, bro.
Yeah, like said, what do you think? You think we should get Grace on?
Bro,
Think that'd
get
be a good
Grace on.
idea?
I don't talk to her. You can get her on. Bro, I'll absolutely demolish her. You know, I'll bring the patriarchy back with that. You know what I mean?
Also, Susanna's.
Can we, bro, can
Susanna
we,
would be a
bro,
really good one. Susanna would be a really good one.
I'm joking.
yeah, you should ask Suzanne about the English, like teaching English versus Spanish and stuff.
Oh, bro, there's no real argument there, though. I mean, Spanish is just not as
No,
useful
but
as a
the
language.
Vita would bring you the best episode.
Yeah.
That's fair.
The amount of
Because
clips you
no,
get
because
Rage
is
like
bait,
great.
rage bait,
I
rage
feel
bait.
like
Yeah, yeah, you are
all
right.
of
You
us
are
here,
right.
all of us here have been pretty liberal with what we've been saying. But Davita's like, as you were saying, it's like a bell curve. She's on the further side of the liberals.
Yeah,
You know
she
what I'm
definitely
saying?
is. No, she definitely is.
It's like
She's
a
like a
bell
far,
curve.
far left,
Yeah, far right, far left liberal type thing.
bro. But you know what? It's the thing is, you guys disagree with her, right? But I don't know what the
I
thing
mean,
is. You guys, the way you're arguing
It,
today, you guys
it
literally are in
depends.
favor for her,
It
bro.
depends.
You know what I mean?
I feel like because
A
you
lot
know
of
the
the things
camera
she believes in.
changes everything.
Oh, okay.
The camera changes everything.
Yeah.
Because like you know a lot of the stuff like I be saying, I don't truly believe it.
Hmm.
You
What?
know,
That's fair. That's
like
fair.
in terms like when the camera is off, like we be joking about like oh like we
Yeah,
be
yeah,
saying
yeah.
like crazy stuff, you know. But like, do we really mean it? And then vice versa when the camera's on, you say stuff to impress people, but do you actually mean it?
Oh, that's true. I see what
Makes
you're
sense.
saying. I
Makes
see what
sense.
you're saying.
You know, there's like a
I
duality
keep I
there.
keep it quite even. I think that that's the way I view the world. I mean, maybe it's
I mean, that's
wrong.
how you should be in life, you know. No, that's how you should be in
Honest,
life.
Yeah,
honest to God, yeah.
yeah.
Honest to
It's
yourself and honest to others.
yeah.
I don't think so. Should you be like that in life?
I mean,
Sometimes
bro,
you
it
get
matters,
exposed
bro.
to
Like,
not
you could be like Elon Musk and you can say whatever you want because you know you've already made it. But like someone like us, maybe we should be a little more wary of what we say publicly.
right. Yeah, that's what
That
I'm
is
thinking
true.
as
That is
well.
true. But I think that we have to look at it, to a point where it's like we have to do what's right, and if imagine everyone was promote, it's like propaganda, right?
But I mean,
if everyone's
bro,
promoting the same
fuck-
thing here again and again and again, then it's like, you're pushing agendas. You have control, and
Bamir,
some
uh,
guys they need to
what's
step
right's
out.
not
They
always
need to
what's
say,
good, bro.
I know
brother,
what's
brother,
right is
brother,
not always
brother,
what's good, by
Bamir,
the way.
What's right is not
Bamir.
always what's right. You know what I'm saying?
No, bro. Let's say with that. Like, my question is, who the fuck are you to decide what's right and what's not? You know what I mean?
It's right to him.
It's right to me, and I mean, whoever watches me, they can
Yeah.
agree or disagree with me.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
yes, but at the end of the day, does your actions affect others around you?
Every action we have affects
I
anyone
feel like
around
it
us.
does, bro.
I
But
wouldn't say
that's
every
for
action. No,
everybody, no?
no, I wouldn't say
Everybody's
every action.
action has affection.
Exactly.
Affection,
Big war.
nice one.
An effect. Yeah.
No, I said action.
Such affection is just a wrong word. You
Yeah,
Yes,
man.
disrespect
affection
little
is
boy.
affection.
The thing is, you guys clown me for my argument, but we have this other brother too. He's also a poet. He dropped some
Tata,
Okay, I
lines
just
already.
Nah, nah,
misspoke.
nah,
sure.
But
nah,
People
he's
not
nah,
Tata's
Tazi, I'm
getting
sorry.
clipped. He's getting
Tazi, I'm
clipped.
sorry.
you know
I'm
he's
sorry.
he's a
No,
neurodivergent.
You're gonna get clipped,
pause.
by the way,
Pause.
for your arguments earlier.
What, who,
Ooh.
me?
Tata, yeah.
I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you.
You're gonna get clipped. So, yeah, be ready.
I mean, Sedge is a neurodivergent.
I just misspoke, bruh.
Yeah, that's also
Means
true.
nothing,
No, but
brother.
you are
Your
right.
Because
I
boy
you
made
mean,
no
I mean,
sense what you were
all
saying.
our actions, yeah, they do affect people around us. But look, I'm just preaching what I think is right and what's best for society. And some people they might not agree. And look, I'm open to understanding. Like, I'm not just closed-minded. Like, bro, like I'm young, bro. I don't know everything. I'm not saying I know everything. And if someone can, present, like, I'm searching for the truth. That's all I'm doing. And if someone was to come up
if
and
you're
present
young,
a
if you're young,
coherent,
Telling you that you are.
concise argument, then I'm willing to believe them. I'm willing to,
or
change my.
if you're young, you show your viewers your hairline. Prove it's not squiggly.
I'll show you my hairline. You
Show
want
it
to
to
see
us.
it?
Show
No,
the
no,
viewers your
no,
hairline.
no, no, do the
Show
whole
the
thing.
viewers the hairline.
I'm not showing the
I'll
viewers.
pull the whole thing back.
No, bro.
Uh,
Bro, Sedge, turn
Then
on your
your
camera
unk
on, bro.
then.
Serge, come on, what are you doing, Serge?
Yeah, bro, you
Show us
get
your
it.
I'm
hairline,
lying
Sedge.
down, bro.
Sedge, show us your hairline.
Serge, show us
My
your hairline as
hairline.
well.
My hairline is look.
Tazi, your
I have
turn.
pretty.
Tata
I
Lala.
what?
have pretty
Tata
good
Lala,
hairline.
your turn.
Okay, first.
I'll send you $10 right now if you show me your hairline.
Nah,
Yeah, give
don't
me a
worry.
favor.
You don't worry. You don't have to. I'm not your sugar. I'm not. Wait, are we still on stream? You know my sugar,
Nah,
No,
nah,
whatever
we're
it's
no,
not.
called.
no, we're not. Yeah,
But I can't. How do you? I actually don't know how to allow access. I need to get permission. Wait a minute. Let me
Dude,
see.
turn on your camera, bro.
Yeah,
I swear, I'm gonna
you
hack you.
basically go to like the three dots at the. Sage, how did you make me do it?
No, but he's on phones. I don't know what's on. Why is?
Oh,
Oh,
you're
you
on
have
your
to go to
phone?
your settings if you're on your phone.
You have to
Yeah, you have to
basically
go to your settings.
enable camera
I'm doing.
settings.
There we go. You see what? No, I'm joking. You see what I mean? Yeah.
Ah, bro, it's not that bad, bro.
That's
You're
not that
looking
bad.
fresh.
Yeah.
No.
If
Pause.
I
Let
actually
me
thought it
show
was
you
the
again.
wig. Oh, nah. That's
Zoom
fine.
in a little bit.
Nah, you got the pusharoonies,
It's not looking good,
pushbacks.
bro. It's not looking good, bro.
Oh my god.
Bro, bro. By the
When I
way,
get a
Tata,
when
that's
I get a
getting.
haircut, you guys are
Tata,
gonna be
that's getting
quiet.
clipped. That's getting clipped.
You need that spray thing.
Nah, when I get a haircut, I'm telling you this. I'm not even gonna dap any of you guys up. I'm strictly gonna ignore you guys, and I'm just gonna, you know what I mean? I'm just gonna film myself. That's all it is.
Bro, Johnny, do you know that clip where I think Chunks was at Emirates with Sterling and he takes off the durag?
Oh yes, he did.
Who took off the
Don't do
Dura?
me like that. Be serious. Don't do me like that, bro.
So let me find the video on TikTok. I'll send it to you.
Chunk
Okay.
takes it off and then it's like Sterling sees it. He's
Yeah,
like,
it's like
oh my goodness, put it back. He told him put it back.
yeah.
That's crazy. But bro,
It's
Tata,
Sterling.
you're gonna get clipped. By the way, that forehead, it's gonna get clipped and posted.
Oh, I found it.
So yeah,
Show it on stream. Show it to us.
yeah, sure on stream.
Watch, like, I'll send it to you here.
I don't have TikTok.
What do you copy?
He's
You
gonna kill
post
me.
TikToks.
Yeah, I just post and then I delete. That's literally what I do.
How do you copy the link?
I literally post TikToks and then I delete TikTok, the app. But yeah, send it to me. I'll see it later.
Why don't you have why don't you have TikToks, bro?
Because
I mean, why don't you have TikTok?
I don't know. I feel
Ling
like
gong guli guli
I
gala
feel like I'll
ling
get
gong
addicted.
ling gong goo ling gong goo
Bro,
ling
That's
gong
fair.
guli guli
and you know
gala.
what? I feel like I deleted TikTok like year 10 or year
Yeah, no, you've been off for a while.
yeah, Snapchat, nothing, bro.
Yeah, I used to send stuff to SM20, but not anymore.
Subaru.
Yeah. What Snapchat? What was my Snapchat name? SM20.
I think you had SM20. Yeah, you went
That
through
was
phases,
TikTok.
bro.
No, that
Yeah.
was SM20 was TikTok.
It's me and Mates now. I mean, we had what Microgenic, TSM Dark,
Nitro,
SM20,
Takramir 673.
Takami 673. Now we're me and Mates. So
Wait, what are your Xbox names?
Bold Guy 13.
Yeah, I remember that one.
The Xbox days were lit, man. Now we don't. Yeah, now we don't do anything. Now we don't play.
Nah, man. What do you think the best generation of gaming was? Like, was it the COD times, the Fortnite times,
Fortnite.
Fortnite.
Was so
Warzone
peak, bro.
times?
Johnny, you
It
weren't
was
even there for
definitely Fortnite.
Fortnite though. You weren't even there.
I
Nah,
wasn't
you weren't
there.
there for peak.
You weren't there for
If
I
you were
wasn't
here,
there.
I say for me, COVID was peak.
It was so peak, bro. When we were playing with like everyone, like remember the whole school was like,
Yeah, because
bro.
that's when they added like creative and you could get 16 people in your lobby.
Yeah, that was
For
so
me,
sick.
peak was Travis Scott.
Travis Scott was sick.
Oh,
Travis
that
Scott
was
I
was
think,
crazy.
Johnny
but like,
wasn't
bro,
our
Johnny,
homie then.
imagine.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you weren't the
No, I
homie
wasn't.
then.
No, I wasn't
You
friends
imagine
with you guys.
we had a lobby with like us, and then like Tease and his
Bro,
boys. It
bro,
was like a
I
full
fucking
ass
did.
lobby.
Fucking was with Dexter for the Travis Scott concert one.
But you see, Dakshesh's dad is now the CEO of or managing director of Airtel now in Malawi.
But I thought he's in Australia though.
Is he back?
No, it's in
Dad,
Kenya, no? It's in Kenya, no?
his
It's in
dad is
Kenya.
now managing director of Airtel. I got that in my email
Why?
Why? Yeah.
because I invest in Airtel, so it's their
Oh.
obligation to tell me when
Could you
managerial
tell me?
shifts.
Could you tell me how to invest in Airtel? Actually,
Well,
just
invest in the Malawi stock market.
I'll buy Sobo, to be honest. I
Oh,
can
okay,
I?
okay. Well, Sobo is
Yeah.
not listed on the Malawi stock market.
Bro,
Really?
Sobo. What's this guy, man?
What you saying,
Companies
bro?
like
What you saying? Be quiet.
Nataziaki's pet, bro.
But you know, a bottle of Tazi, how much do you think a bottle of Sobo is now in Malawi?
Bro, maybe around 5,000, if I'm not
No,
mistaken.
bro.
Maybe.
I was there.
Like,
It was 9,000. It's probably like 10, 11 right now.
what?
Yes, bro.
Wait, hold up. This is
Dude,
just for orange.
the inflation is so bad. Right now, apparently, there's no sugar.
There's no gas as
Bro,
well.
bro, like
Crazy.
what, bro?
No
What is going
sugar.
on, bro? No sugar. There's no, bro. We had like power problems, no
No
light, no
gas.
water. Now you got no sugar, no,
No,
bro.
no,
This
no.
is proper
Well, the
like
inflate. I don't think the inflation has been as bad as it is
right now.
ever in our lifetimes in Malawi. Yeah,
Now,
Like,
Yeah,
I'm not.
it might have been
I,
bad like 2011, 2012, but we were young. We wouldn't have noticed.
that's fair.
yeah, I
Sorry,
don't know.
Tazi, you were saying.
I don't know about you guys, but now coming back, I'm a bit skeptical, bro. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man. Life here with the lights and the internet hits a bit different. You know what I mean? I've been going back to flipping what? Power banks. I'm not ready for
Nah,
that, bro.
I mean, Loki, I don't think power is a problem as much anymore.
I don't
Like, yeah,
think so.
you get an occasional blackout, but like it's not as bad.
And I think
I can,
people
I
have
can go with
like
that.
they've kind of
But like, there's no petrol, bro. That's the pain. Like, you can't get from point A to point B. You have to
Yeah,
ration.
no
that's
petrol.
crazy.
Yeah,
That's the
man. You got to
issue.
ration.
Dude, I put 15 liters in my car for
Yeah.
90,000 kwacha on the black market.
That's crazy.
15 liters. 15 liters lasted me like 2 days for 90,000.
That's
Yeah,
It's
crazy.
that's
ridiculous.
crazy. But also, here's
Imagine,
the
imagine it was a bigger country. You know, like everything's nearby still. Like if it was big, bro,
Yeah.
it's a complete failure, man.
Lingangudi.
It's a complete failure of the government.
Now the country's cooked.
It's so cooked.
here's the
Like a bag of maize in like 2014, I think was 10,000 kwacha. Right now it's 100,000 to 110,000 kwacha. What Malawian can afford that
Yeah.
yeah, it's unfair.
on a GDP of $1 a day?
Apparently, they like came out with a policy where um, basically lower income households in Malawi they'll get access to foreign exchange at an earlier rate than you know more wealthy households
At an
because
earlier rate? What does that mean?
like once forex starts to come into the country, the lower average the lower income households are going to get access to the forex. They're going to because they're export they export sugar, they export all these things. Do you understand what I'm saying? So
Yeah. I mean, bro, all the issues in the country, no, it's as simple as just forex, bro, fixing your forex. But that comes down to you producing more
yeah, it's all
as
about
a
That's
production.
nation.
tough.
So it comes down to just production, bro.
Yeah, you are
And
right.
like devaluing your economy necessarily isn't a bad
I
thing,
mean, foreign
but
investment.
it yeah, it tells you
FDI.
when you're devaluing your economy, it just tells you to produce more. You're not producing enough,
So even some FDI
simply.
tourism could
Yeah,
could help the country, but
I know, but we're fully just relying on investment from other countries, which is not enough to sustain ourselves.
I mean, foreign aid
Yeah.
is back on, right? So should be better.
Is it?
Yeah, that's why Johnny's coming back too.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
How is it not?
It's not.
So it's
It's
like
not.
another.
It's not back on.
How is it not back on?
It's not back on.
There was a deal the other day. Trump lost in the House 6-4, and it was about foreign aid.
Yes. Yes.
But
It's
maybe it's not
thing.
to
It's like
Malawi.
no. Like it was thing. It was like It's paused for now, but like it's not back on. It's like it is stopped and people are let go. Like a shit ton of people are let go. It's not back on, but like like the people who are still working right now can continue to work for up until the 90-day ban end. What Trump wanted to do was end it before the 90 days, but and he lost that one.
Oh,
So it
okay.
will still go on for the next 90 days. Like now there's like 50, 60 days left now. So there's like 2 months left. But after
Oh,
two
that
months,
makes
it's still
sense.
done.
But but that was ridiculous though. That should have been illegal. I mean, it was a Republican judge, and it was a 6-4 Republican party, and two Republicans switched, and Trump lost. It was so ridiculous. It was so ridiculous.
I mean,
But this is what I mean, though. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but policy doesn't even change. Like whoever gets elected, especially in the U.S., you look at it, barely anything changes. Like mass deportations, where are the mass deportations? The first week, Washington Post, ICE was posting rates. It was like 600 a day, every day, which isn't even mass deportations anyway. Now it's like at a complete standstill. They're not even posting rates anymore. Are there even any deportations happening?
I don't know if you've seen it, but JD Vance said it yesterday or the day before. He said that we are most definitely, like he said, there are 1.1 million international students right now within the U.S. And
Hmm.
he said like we're definitely
Gonna have to
deporting
cut
a lot of
down.
like I said we have to cut down. We're deporting a lot of them, even though they're
I
legal,
saw that. I
uh,
saw that.
even though they're legal students. So
Yeah,
Why
He
are
says
they
we're
like?
taking places of those in America who can't, like those middle class people who can't fully
yeah,
afford it, because a lot of international students pay full tuition.
yeah.
That's why schools let them in.
I mean, in my
nonsense.
opinion, it's
Isn't
extremely
that
retarded.
international students literally cover for like
Yes,
state
they do.
students because they pay so
Yes,
much
they
Yeah,
do.
more,
they
so that
do.
goes towards
But like that's
scholarships and
why
stuff.
Vance is saying that's a problem, because we're letting in so many international students, and they're taking spots of that could have been domestic students.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
see what they're saying.
But they're
Yeah, I see.
funding the domestic students, no,
Yes,
with
exactly.
scholarships.
Yeah,
Yes.
but basically
Makes
the
zero
government
sense.
can set up programs where they fund the schools money.
No, no, no. What makes you think the government can do that when they're not doing it right now? It makes
Well,
zero
I mean,
sense.
like, dude, it's as easy as just making a policy that limits schools on how many international students they can bring in. It's not that hard.
No, I meant like understand that, but like who's gonna pay for them? The government's not gonna do that.
I mean, like, schools will rebel it, but like,
I mean, they can though, sir.
there's
Because
nothing they can really, there's nothing they can really
The
do, bro.
government can't pay for it. That's why they want
no,
more
no.
international students in the unis, but they were more.
You know what? They can, because they're removing
Hmm?
like a lot of they're removing a lot of aid. And I don't know if you know, but like the aids are like billions of dollars, bro. A shit ton of money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, so
Yeah,
they can
they
use that
still
money
need to
like
know
elsewhere.
international students
No,
is
but no,
weak.
Saj, if you look at it, these schools don't necessarily need that money. They're already like institutions that already like have millions of dollars.
Wait, are you
But those are
talking
the big
about
ones, though.
government
No,
cutting
but those are the big
funding to
ones, though.
universities?
No,
No.
we're saying about
Oh.
international students getting kicked out.
Oh, I mean, but like at the end of the day, I mean, Trump's come out, oh, mass deportations. JD Vance says all those things, and I told Sedge this last time. You should never listen to what a politician says, but what they do, because they say a lot of things, but they don't
They
actually
kind of
follow
are
through.
doing it though. They are following through with a lot of the things they said they were gonna do.
Like what? The mass
So
deportations?
I mean, so far,
No,
I mean, not we haven't seen mass, but we have seen deportations, and
but
you know it's
barely
happening.
any, bro.
I
600
know of
is
people
not mass.
personally. I know of people personally who've.
Yeah,
I know
exactly.
someone
Me
who's been
too.
But they've
detained.
literally
I know
stopped
someone who's been
publishing the
detained.
numbers, bro. They've stopped publishing the numbers.
Yeah,
Me,
that's a
me,
sign, dude. I've in the
me.
past
I told you
week,
last
I know of
time.
2 people who've been detained from Malawi.
Yeah, okay, but
From
bro, like,
Malawi.
What?
Yeah,
Shit.
that's
It's
how serious it
insane.
is.
okay, but when we
But
look
me,
at
I
the
told you.
stats, it was
I
like
told
600 deep. No, I mean, if we actually look at the statistics, it was like 600 a day on average. It dropped. At one of the days, it went to like 900. I'm pretty sure. It dropped below 500. 500. This is not mass deportations. And let's
It's only the
say,
beginning too,
yeah, that was the first few weeks. Now they've just stopped publishing the mass deportations. The Washington
but
Post
it's still
stopped.
happening.
Maybe it is, but I mean, if it was in large numbers, I mean, this is why Republicans even voted for Trump. If the deportations were happening in large numbers, Washington would love to post them. Trump would love to get that information out there because it makes him look good, right? It makes him credible. But they're not posting it for a reason because the numbers are super low.
Is there a reason why they're super low? Is it that they're not doing these mass deport, or like doing the measures that they were gonna do, or
It's because of them boys, okay? It's because of them boys.
what have them boys done?
Hey man, we're not gonna talk about them boys.
About the detention centers?
What do you mean about the detention centers?
I know. I'm saying, what have they done for them? What have them boys? How are them boys related to
I
Trump
mean,
deportation?
it's
The only like correlation I've heard about them boys is about how like the detention centers are like compared to Them
That's
boys
great.
back in the day.
I need to them boys you, bro. I need to them boys you later, but not on.
Yeah, you needed them boys, me.
Yeah, I need to them boys you later, bro. But Serge, do you understand why? Maybe not. I have to explain it a bit more.
Yo, can we end the stream and then you them boys me now?
You want to
Yeah,
get them boys?
end the stream.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
let's
make
end
it
the stream.
quick though. I need to go shower.
Okay.